The water didn't have anywhere to go, so at the bottom point, it trenched into our driveway through a mudslide.
There's search and rescue operations for anyone trapped. Hillary's now downgraded to a post-tropical storm, meaning its wind speed is slowed down, but there's more rain to come. It's expected to move into Idaho by tonight. The mayor of Maui County, Hawaii, says about 850 people are now unaccounted for. There are 114 deaths confirmed in the wildfires there.
The president and first lady will leave Lake Tahoe, Nevada, where they've been since Friday, to head for Maui, Hawaii, to view the wildfire devastation firsthand. Governor Josh Green said on CBS Face the Nation what the president will see has been unparalleled for decades.
The largest catastrophe and disaster that's ever hit Maui. Probably it's ever hit Hawaii outside of wartime events.
The president last week made disaster assistance available to the state. From there, he and the First Lady will return to Lake Tahoe and remain there through the week. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Former President Trump says he will not be at the first Republican presidential debate Wednesday on Fox.
He posted on his Truth social media site, "The public knows who I am and what a successful presidency I had. I will therefore not be doing the debates." A spokesman didn't immediately clarify whether he plans to boycott every primary debate.
Fox's Jill Nato. Fox News Radio will be providing special coverage of the first Republican primary debate beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesday. You can listen at foxnewsradio.com. A former nurse at a hospital in northern England, Lucy Letby, sentenced to life in prison for murdering 7 babies and attempting to kill 6 others in 2015 and 2016. There's no death penalty in Great Britain. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
It's a heat wave already in the upper 70s and mostly cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Temperatures in the 90s with lots of humidity throughout the state this week.
This week's warm weather is going to be caused by a large area of high pressure over the plain states. It's going to be expanding eastward into the Ohio Valley as the week goes on.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service. It has much of the state under a heat advisory and air quality alerts. Things will start cooling back down, though, by Friday. A boy killed in a shooting on the east side of Indy near New York and Sherman Sunday. It was a boy between the ages of 11 and 14, says IMPD officer William Young.
It's certainly a tragic scene that we're having to deal with this Sunday evening. It's certainly disturbing.
He indicated it may have been an accident. It's not clear yet if the boy shot himself or if he was shot by someone else. A possible gas leak is why some schools in Carmel are on hold this morning. Matt Baer will have more on that coming up. In Hawaii, Hoosiers with Indiana Task Force 1 have landed and are already hard at work looking for anyone left alive in the aftermath of wildfires on the island of Maui. Leader Jay Settergren says that they were tasked with clearing out a burned-out apartment building on Sunday.
Yesterday and today, we're working on creating safe access to the building so that we can conduct searches through the building.
He says you can help from here at home by donating to the Red Cross. At least one concerned parent has started a petition over a new cell phone policy in Martinsville schools. Sam Fritz.
Some parents have concerns over a new cell phone policy in the Martinsville School District, stating that students are not allowed to have their cell phone on them and must keep it in their locker until the end of the school day. Tabitha Maxwell brought the issue up at a school board meeting on Thursday. In an interview with Wish TV, she says that after a situation like the shooting in Uvalde, Texas, it's important students have their phone on them.
Students were able to update their parents, call 911. I don't understand why you would take that away from a child.
Sam Fritz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And Colts running back Jonathan Taylor will be traveling with the team to their final preseason game against the Philadelphia Eagles. That according to head coach Shane Steichen. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
All right, Kurt, I spoke with Carmel Dispatch, and they said some of the crews are starting to split from 126th Street. This is the gas leak you were talking about. Mohawk Trails Elementary School on 126 between Keystone Parkway and Gray Road. If you're heading that way, do still watch for emergency vehicles because some will still be there, but the road is open. Crash eastbound 21st at Country Club Road. Also a crash on the north side, Ditch Road south of 86. Traffic sponsored by AllWorthFinancial.com, helping thousands meet their retirement goals. Discover uncompromised wealth management that serves your best interest, not your advisors. Visit allworthfinancial.com to book a free appointment today. That's allworthfinancial.com. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Stop right now and ask yourself, what is most important to you? Hey, this is Casey Weed at Howard Bailey Financial, the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. We believe in developing retirement plans driven by what is most important to you, your purpose. Then we can build what we call your financial life plan, made up of 4 main pillars: liquidity for emergencies, income to last a lifetime, flexibility to adapt, estate planning to maximize your legacy, and finally, tax planning to maximize what you can spend and pass on. To learn more about saving on your taxes, get your free digital tax guide. Just call or text TAX42 to 866-482-9559. That's TAX42 to 866-482-9559.
Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Heat advisory in effect all this week. Sunny and hot, humid too today, a high of 92. Clear, quiet, but very muggy overnight, a low of 73. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
78 and partly cloudy on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
Action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Well, good morning. It is Monday, August 21st. It's 6 minutes after 9. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. His name is Rob Kendall. You can find him on Twitter at Rob M. Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. You can find me there at Casey Daniels 317. And we're both on YouTube right now if you type in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar. All right, let's talk about fake names. And I'm not talking about honey or sweetie or darling, beautiful babe, none of that. I'm talking about aliases. The House Oversight Committee Chairman, James Comer, he requested that the National Archives provide unredacted documents and communications from President Biden when he was vice president. This is all part of the panel's probe into the president's son, Hunter, because apparently Joseph Robinette Biden has been using fake names.
Isn't this, okay, first of all, this is, when you saw this story, were you like me where you said, that absolutely seems about par for the course?
Yeah, totally believable. Of course he was using a fake name.
And par for the course when it comes to Joe Biden is that he's using some sort of assumed name, sending emails, and any reasonable person would then say, why in the hell would you do that other than to avoid and deflect any sort of scrutiny or spotlight on yourself because you're clearly doing something you don't want other people knowing about.
Yeah, he's used the names Robert L. Peters. He's also gone by JRB and another one.
JRB, like he's a rapper of some sort.
Right, and Ware, he's using a fake last name. But these are all in emails that he signed with this fake name while he was vice president and then forwarded to his son, Hunter.
Wait.
And these are government emails that we're bringing Hunter in on.
Wait. Time out, Casey. I'm not going to sit here and let you
besmirch the good name of Joe Biden?
Or whatever name he was using on the day he was sending those emails, because I know for a fact Joe Biden said he never had any sort of communication with his son about his business dealings.
You know that?
That's what he said.
He did say that he built an absolute wall between his family's foreign business schemes and his son.
But you're saying he was...
Turns out he didn't build a wall.
Well, that's really weird, isn't it? Isn't it that Joe Biden... He must have been mistaken, Casey, because Joe Biden would never look the American people in the eye and lie.
Oh, no, never.
So James Comer, he's the head of the House Oversight Committee. He is the guy who is slow walking, like the Republicans always do, this investigation into Biden, leading towards some sort of impeachment, maybe, potentially. I mean, hell, Donald Trump can be impeached in 2 weeks, but with the Republicans, we're 8 months in, and, well, you know, we're still asking for more information. He was on with Maria Bartiromo, right? Mm-hmm. He was on Fox News, And he said Biden used the fake names related to Ukraine to keep Hunter informed.
Well, we've learned that Joe Biden used at least 3 pseudonyms or fake names in emails that he was receiving from people within the federal government, people that worked for him. And even more troubling than that, Maria, we've learned that when he was receiving emails pertaining to Ukraine, his son Hunter was copied on them, which we've always heard that the White House has said that Hunter Biden wasn't an employee of the government. He wasn't any part of the government. They couldn't understand why House Republicans on the Oversight Committee were investigating Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden because Hunter wasn't a part of the government. Well, if that were true, then why was he receiving emails from the government?
Oh, because he wants to keep Hunter involved. Hunter's got to know what's going on.
Casey, he said, I have never discussed business with my son.
Oh, but then he changed it to I'm not in business with my son.
That is true. I thought that was just a coincidence. Are you now beginning to tell me that maybe that wasn't a coincidence and that the Biden administration is deliberately changing the phraseology because it's blatantly obvious he was totally discussing business with his son and his son's business associates?
Well, and not only talking, but speaking, dining, having coffee, all of this with Hunter's foreign business associates.
Hey, by the way, I don't mean to jump off topic here. We'll get back to more of Comer in just a second. But we have many TVs on in our studio, and there was another Shreve ad. Don't you just want to puke all over yourself every time you see a Shreve ad? Because he continues to waste his vast fortune on going after law-abiding gun owners rather than, I don't know, asking where the mayor was during the riots.
Was it the Broad Ripple ad?
This was something, I just saw the very tail end of it, and I had to just catch myself, and luckily I'm a trained professional because I literally almost threw up all over myself, and that would have been very bad for the YouTube feed to have to witness that. Think about that. That guy continues to run ads going after law-abiding gun owners instead of asking where the mayor was during the riots. Okay, sorry, back to Comer. I didn't mean to derail the conversation.
Well, the one thing that is very interesting about all of this is you have to consider the timeline. So this happened while Joe Biden was the vice president, right? And in his mind, he was probably thinking he was done with politics because you had Hillary Clinton running and she was going to win, right? And that meant that she was going to win and then she would win another term and Joe Biden was done. So he was making a nice little nest for himself for retirement, correct?
Well, and what's interesting about the emails, these new emails, according to Comer, is that they clearly are related to the video. So this exists in video. No one's ever disputed it's real or doctored or artificial intelligence. It's totally him. Where Biden is on tape talking about squeezing that the prosecutor in Ukraine. And now Comer says what we all knew, but these emails appear to show, is he did it because Hunter needed help with Burisma.
This also pertains to the firing of the special prosecutor in Ukraine, Viktor Shokin. Was that what these emails were about? Because you have told us in the past that was one decision you were looking at as far as a decision that Joe Biden may have been paid for to get involved in getting that prosecutor off the back of Burisma.
I think the evidence is mounting every day to prove that Joe Biden went to Ukraine for the sole purpose of firing Shokin, who was the Ukrainian prosecutor who was investigating his son for corruption. What we heard in the transcribed interview with Devin Archer was that he said that the owners of Burisma were squeezing Hunter, saying, we need help in Washington. You need to call Washington for help. Of course, the Democrats tried to say that, well, that could have been anybody in Washington. Well, what we've now learned is Joe Biden was using a fake email name to receive correspondence from his staff that he was copying Hunter Biden on. And I believe, Maria, that Hunter had to prove value to the Burisma owners that they were working on this, so he was forwarding those to the owners of Burisma. Look, this is obvious that Joe Biden abused his power as vice president for the sole purpose to protect his son, who was receiving millions and millions of dollars from this corrupt Ukrainian energy company. And this email ties Joe Biden and Hunter Biden into this corruption scheme without a shadow of a doubt.
So the National Archives has to provide these unredacted records within the next week. And Comer has requested more bank records. They expect to get those on Wednesday.
Okay, two things, Casey. One, when we come back, our old pal, our buddy, our amigo, Kevin McCarthy's side piece, Large Marge, she was on the television over the weekend, and she said, no chance Trump gets a fair trial in Georgia. And
really?
Yes,
she said that?
She's quite the pundit.
Duh.
Yes, absolutely. And also, later on in the show, do you remember last week when we played the voicemail from our loyal listener, the over-the-road trucker who is also a rapper in his part-time, spare time, weekends, whatever. And we kind of were like, oh, sure, right. No, he actually exists. And he did a rap about politicians in the state of Indiana that is the most amazing thing in the history of ever. Like, this guy should get a record deal, and everybody should sign him to your local drinking establishment on Friday nights.
We have our own Oliver Anthony.
Oh my gosh, this guy is incredible. And so we're going to play his Indiana politician rap later on in the show as well.
Fantastic. All right, you're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
On the campaign trail, Ron DeSantis went to a couple different places.
I'm a very hardcore Trump supporter. This is the most important vote that we're going to have.
Who would be better at legislating, beating Joe Biden,
restoring this country to what the founding fathers envisioned?
Your heart against your mind. Trump against DeSantis. Who you got?
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
The U.S. home price index is on the rise, and interest rates are stabilizing. The market is turning more seller-friendly. If you've been waiting, now may be the best time to sell your home. Find out with the agent I recommend, Mark Dietl. Maybe you want maximum equity from your home, but not sure how. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Kevin and Lori in Monon had to say about working with Mark Dietl. Our family was growing and our house was too small. We found a bigger home, but we needed to sell our current home for top dollar to afford the bigger place. The Mark Dietl team made it happen. Our home sold in 7 days, but they made sure we closed on both houses in the same day. Amazing. Call for all the details. Call the agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold, or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-239-1749. 800-239-1749.
Starting August 22nd, the U.S. dollar may have new competition from a new global supercurrency backed by Russia and China. And if the dollar plummets, your retirement could follow. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon. I recommend a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get a free info kit on gold by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. I encourage you to act before August 22nd. Text SHELTER to 989898 to get your free information kit on gold now.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
You need to figure out what kind of a show you're going to be.
Is she going to run for Senate? I don't know. She kind of wants to be vice president. 19 minutes after 9, you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So Marjorie Taylor Greene hasn't made up her mind yet whether she's going to run for Senate in Georgia, in part because, well, she really wants to be Donald Trump's vice president. She said, I haven't made up my mind whether I do or don't.
That's like me saying I haven't made up my mind yet about whether I want to someday manage the Chicago Cubs. I mean... Like, I haven't made up my mind. There's also zero chance it's going to happen.
Of course you want to, but do they want you?
She's annoying, isn't she?
You think so?
I mean, we have to cover her because she is a newsmaker and she is very prominent in conservative circles, certainly the Trump orbit. She's a huge Trump supporter, and let's face it, she's a sitting member of Congress. She is a newsmaker, but she is annoying. Are you not agreeing with that? Do you like hearing from her?
I do. I do like
Really?
Yes, I do.
I mean, not for the fact of the radio content, because she is mildly amusing in terms of the things she's willing to say, which will entertain our audience. You actually you're like, wow, I get a lot of really deep thought from Marjorie Taylor Greene. My life is altered in a positive way when I hear her open her mouth.
Well, the one thing that I do like about her is that she's not afraid and she doesn't back down. And I think that there's some good. There's some good in that.
I agree. She is totally in love with Kevin McCarthy, and she totally was willing to go to the mat for him. Absolutely.
Yeah, she was. So big supporter of Donald Trump. And she predicted yesterday that he is going to face another indictment, and this time in Arizona.
Yeah, she's fairly confident, as many people are beginning to believe. Like it's like this, a Pandora's box has been opened. And we've talked about this quite a bit on the show, where up until, I don't know, basically the past couple of years, it was always like the what if scenario. Well, now they're not even what if scenarios. They're just happening. Mm-hmm. And what the left has realized is we have all these lunatic prosecutors, local people, whatever, who have been elected, and they don't care at all about justice, and they have absolutely zero shame, and they feel absolutely no obligation to uphold the oath of office that they've taken. And so screw it. We'll just prosecute Trump in all these individual counties, and then even if he becomes president, he probably can't even pardon himself, and we'll get him on one of them.
Isn't it that he has until Friday to surrender?
Yes.
In the Georgia, Fulton County?
Yes.
That's where he's got to turn himself in.
Speaking of Fulton County, Large Marge says there's no chance Trump gets a fair trial in Georgia.
Well, I don't think he's going to get a fair trial at all. As a matter of fact, I don't think these charges are fair. What Fani Willis is trying to do is exactly what she's guilty of. She's charging him with RICO, racketeering, and conspiracy. In Fulton County, which is a largely Democrat county, he's not going to get a fair trial, and none of this is fair. But that's what Americans see. You see, Americans aren't stupid. And the typical lies in the media and the headlines, like we've seen for years now, are just not sticking anymore. Americans are going to vote with their wallet, and they remember President Trump's 4 years. They remember how great our economy was, and they remember $1.75 gas. I can't say that loudly enough. $1.75 gas, while we hover around $4 a gallon under Joe Biden.
She's not wrong.
Okay, but the $1.75 gas stuff, and this, look, obviously the gas was much cheaper throughout the duration of Trump's presidency than it has been under Biden. However, this $1.75 gas thing is highly disingenuous, and I'm sick of hearing about it, because that was based on Trump shutting society down, or at least bribing the states to shut society down. So you don't get to say, oh my gosh, look at the $1.75 gas. You did it because people helped wreck society.
Okay, so what?
Nobody wanted gas because no one was allowed to go anywhere.
She's picking the lowest number during that time.
Now, look, is it fair to say, hey, gas was $1-ish cheaper a gallon, which is still very, a very noticeable number? Why, yes, absolutely. Would you rather your gas be $2.75 than $3.75? Yes, absolutely. But you don't get to do this $1.75 stuff because it was $1.75 because of what you people did, including Trump.
Okay, so Trump now faces nearly 100 different criminal charges, and this is across 4 different indictments. First president in history to face these charges, and now she's saying that Arizona is likely next, and they're doing it just to impact the 24 election.
Well, I'm sure Arizona is next. And just as Stephen Miller laid out, this is a conspiracy, a grand conspiracy by the Democrat Party to use the justice system at the federal level, but also in the states, using these state DAs, like in Georgia, Fani Willis. They'll use Arizona's, they're using New York's, and they're using this giant collaboration, basically to affect the 2024 election. But Maria, let me tell you something. Americans are not going to have it. This election is not going to be swayed by indictments against President Trump that are really pure communism in America today. This election is going to be swayed with gas prices, food prices, inflation, and security. Americans want $1.75 gas back like we had in Georgia in November of 2020. Single moms can't afford cereal and bread to make their kids sandwiches as they go back to school because of inflation and food prices. Americans want secure city streets. Americans want a secure border. And Americans don't want to be dragged off into another decades-long foreign war defending another border that's not our own. Americans see through this exactly for what it is. This is an attempt to steal the 2024 election from Donald Trump by trying to put him in jail, and they are overwhelmingly going to elect him in the Republican primary, and I'll argue that he will win the general election.
So she mentions everything that is on my mind. She mentions gas prices, food prices, energy prices, security and crime in our cities, the border, the war with Ukraine. She's speaking like straight to average Americans.
It is a fascinating world we appear about to enter, because if indeed Trump is the nominee and if indeed Biden survives literally and figuratively till next fall, what will people actually choose? Because clearly everything she has said is correct. The country is a disaster. People's buying power has never been less. The morale of the country arguably has never been lower. You look at the position we are in, it is just so many levels, just absolutely terrible. And yet it will be a toss-up because of the strong, unfavorable nature of Donald Trump based on his actions and personality. I'm not talking about from a legal perspective. This was baked in way before these indictments. And so will people, and it's obviously not an issue for me, I would vote for an orange peel over Joe Biden. But will people be in their feels so much that they say we would rather continue to be screwed financially for another 4 years because we don't like some guy's rallies or his social media?
Well,
it's a weird thing to even say out loud. It sounds so stupid.
But I don't even think it's Trump versus Biden at this point. I feel like it's Trump versus whatever puppet regime they put in place.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if it's Biden or Harris. It's somebody giving them the talking points and directing this. Marjorie Taylor Greene said it would be an honor to be picked as Trump's running mate.
Geez.
And he has said that if she runs for Senate, he would fight like hell for her. Of course, the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, is also floating the idea.
You know what
of
also would be?
Senate.
You know what also would be an honor?
What?
To do co-lead vocals on a live version of Born to Run with Bruce Springsteen. It would be an honor. It's not happening.
Hey, we've got Tony Kinnett who's going to join us next, and this is amazing. He is in Hawaii right now. He's been doing a lot of reporting. You can follow along on his Twitter account, which is @thetonus, and we're going to get an update from him next on 93 WIBC.
Watch parties aren't what they used to be.
Welcome to today's matinee.
Ever since we got Xfinity, my little sister and her friends can easily stream all their favorite stuff.
We'll start with 2 episodes of Top Chef, then Chopped.
When I was a kid, we'd worry about buffering. Now they just worry about what's on the charcuterie board.
Enjoy these fine meats and cheeses.
These are just cut up hot dogs and spray cheese.
Indeed.
The best way to stream your favorites is on the Xfinity 10G network. Introducing the best value in live TV and streaming on the best network with Xfinity Internet and Now TV. Now through August 28th, get internet on the Xfinity 10G network for $30 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Plus, add Now TV with Peacock Premium, a $5.99 a month value included at no extra cost for just $20 a month. Switch today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Now TV requires Xfinity Internet. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Stream Top Chef on Peacock.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Hey Hoosiers, it's your Congressman Greg Pence. Let's get straight to the point. Joe Biden's policies are not working for the average Hoosier. Inflation is absolutely still out of control. I'm putting Hoosier values first. Promoting energy independence, opposing woke policies, and fighting for our families is my focus. To learn more about my efforts, go to pence.house.gov.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Hurricanes and earthquakes. It's 80 degrees and mostly sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. The National Hurricane Center has downgraded what had been Tropical Storm Hillary to a post-tropical cyclone after bringing heavy rainfall to parts of California. The storm system is now on the move, passing through central Nevada. Forecasters expect Hillary to continue to lose steam and dissipate over the next couple of days. A 5.0 earthquake also hit Southern California right before the storm hit. Former Indiana Governor Mike Pence is hoping his former boss, Donald Trump, shows up for the upcoming GOP primary debate.
You know, my differences with the former president go far beyond that tragic day in January 2.5 years ago.
However, Trump said over the weekend that he will not be at the debate. A Hoosier restaurant owner says that she has some friends who have family in Maui, and Gina Rosenow tells Wish TV that those friends are worried about their families because of the wildfires.
Communication is still quite sparse, but they've been able to, some of them, track some people down.
70 members of Indiana's Task Force 1 are in Maui now, helping search and rescue efforts. And now the stock report on 93 WIBC. Some modest gains at the opening bell. The Dow was up 13 points to 34,514. The NASDAQ is up 59 to 13,349. And the S&P 500 is up 11 to 4,380. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Does your child need a school that understands their learning style and keeps them engaged in the learning process? Indiana Gateway Digital Academy is an online public school offering a supportive learning environment, empowering students through a whole child approach with passionate teachers focused on student well-being and positive academic outcomes. Indiana Gateway Digital Academy is a tuition-free school now enrolling grades K through 12. Learn more at k12.com/INGDA. Indiana Gateway Digital Academy, committed to the success of every student.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop.
Sarah, you don't look so good. Are you okay?
To be honest, I did it again last night. I promised myself it would be just one glass of wine, and I drank the whole bottle.
You need to get the drinking under control, Sarah. Trust me, I know. Wine o'clock used to be my favorite time of day, but I found that one glass always turned into more and realized I needed help. I did some research and found naltrexone.
Naltrexone?
It's an FDA-approved medication that reduces cravings and pleasure from drinking, making it easier to drink less or quit alcohol altogether. I started seeing results almost immediately.
How'd you get started with naltrexone?
It's easy with Or Health. Just send them a text and get a secure link to their private online assessment. One of their licensed medical professionals will evaluate your assessment and, if medication is right for you, prescribe it directly online. They even deliver your prescription right to your front door. No doctor's office visits required.
Thanks, Anne. I'm texting now.
You really can stop drinking or just drink less. Text PROMISE to 323232 to get started today. Text the word PROMISE to 323232. Text PROMISE to 323232.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
The boarded up windows, the empty streets, all my brothers down on his knees.
93 93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey show. And Casey, I've been watching this all weekend long. Our dear friend and colleague Tony Kennett has been on the ground in Maui doing some absolutely phenomenal reporting about the truth, about what's going on there, about the government ineptitude, about what the people are really feeling. And even though it is very early in the morning there on the ground in Maui, he joins us now on the drivehubler.com hotline. Tony, I got to tell you, I've been watching your reporting all weekend. I can't stop. It is incredibly compelling. It is a total disaster there in Maui.
It really is. And we're only showing you, unfortunately, the people that are willing to go on the record. A lot of people, of course, don't want to upset their neighbors by thinking they're speaking to media and like focusing on that at a time like this. The universal opinion that we have heard is that people are, first of all, this community of islanders is phenomenal. Every last person has pitched in. It is very common, and I have seen the receipts for people on this island to have dipped into their bank account thousands, almost tens of thousands worth of dollars just to donate to neighbors that no longer have a home. Because FEMA is rejecting giving aid to anyone that has home insurance. And I didn't say full coverage. If you have a home insurance policy, FEMA automatically rejects giving you any aid whatsoever.
Wait, you must be misspeaking with it. You're saying that the federal government is saying if you have an ounce of homeowner's insurance, we're not helping you.
Yeah, that's right. If you just have like a Post-it note that says insurance, Biden's administration thinks that you are totally fine, that you need nothing. And by the way, you only qualify for FEMA aid if your address says Lahaina, which is the town that was burned down, which is a very small part of Western Maui. These fires, by the way, happen in a very small contained area. This is not, the island of Maui has not burnt down. Jason Momoa can go piss off. And that is the opinion of people here on the island. They're like, he's not from Maui. The thing that people on Maui need right now is tourism. And that's like what everyone's saying. You're not hearing that on national media. And lordy, you should hear what they're saying about President Biden's expected visit later today.
Well, let's get into that because he is expected to get there today. And I saw a report that says that his flight is to be there for 2 hours. He's going to come, he's going to land, he's going to do something, and then he's going to leave. So what is the feeling about his trip? Is he still planning? What have you heard?
So first of all, we saw Marine One doing practice flights yesterday. So Marine One has been moved from its normal pathway over the Potomac over to the island of Maui. And so we know he is coming today. We've heard a little bit about his route, one that he is supposed to speak in front of the Catholic Church, one of the kinds of churches he hasn't set foot in decades. And then he is supposed to do a small handshaking ceremony, meeting the locals in front of the Lahaina Civic Center and Post Office. And if you go to my Twitter or you go to the Daily Signal, that's actually one of the buildings that we were turned away from as media. So he's allowed to waltz in here, his old dementia-ridden behind, and waltz up in front of a big photo op, clog up the roads. But God forbid that media wants to ask the public relations officer, whose job it is to tell media what's going on, ask them basic questions about how this disaster has been handled. It's an unmitigated nightmare, and the people of Maui are livid.
Tony Kennett is our guest. You can find him on Twitter @TheTonus. He's been doing all sorts of incredible reporting on Maui. He's on the ground in Maui. And man, I'll tell you what, if you want to know what's going on, Tony is the place to go. @TheTonus on Twitter. Everything he's talking about here today, you can see the play-by-play reporting. Casey, go ahead.
Okay, more with Joe Biden and his trip. What are you hearing from the locals? Do they want him to come at this point? Do they want him to stay away? What is the feeling that you're getting, what they're going through and how they feel about not only his visit, but everything that's been going on there?
Well, their attention to Biden soured because we remember it 4 days after the rest of the country, the mainland as they call it, had heard about the wildfires on Maui, had heard about the tremendous loss of life, over 1,000 people missing. The president, as he was leaving one vacation spot to head to another, was asked by media if they knew about Maui, or if he knew about Maui, and he said no comment, and then he went bicycling for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And the comment here is literally F him. And then he's coming here. They say he's going to be clogging up the roads. He shouldn't be here. It's going to slow things down just so he can get a photo op You say this sometimes and people genuinely do not believe me. I have yet to find a single person on this island who is looking forward to him coming. And we have been beating every corner of the sands to find one person who wants the president to come here. Have yet to find one.
Tony, you mentioned FEMA. You started this interview talking about FEMA, and I found, because I once owned a property where there were multiple, it was hit by multiple hurricanes, and every time FEMA would come in, it was an unmitigated disaster. It was inept. It was things they would fund, things they wouldn't fund. And it just seems like every corner, not just with FEMA, but every corner you're turning to, you are finding that government ineptitude has made this problem worse.
I am going to scratch your libertarian itch, something awful right now. This is the first time I've said this on the air. We haven't read the article yet. I don't know if you guys know anything about like Maui and about kind of the infrastructure here. The most expensive hotel on the island is called the Grand Wailea, and it is $1,000 a night.
Wow.
Guess which hotel the federal government is putting FEMA staff in? And guess what they kicked out Maui survivors out of, so they couldn't book rooms in it if those were donated. That's right. Hotels, the nicest of the nicest hotels. The Westin, they left for the National Guard troops and the Maui survivors. But the Grand Wailea, so like that's FEMA. I mean, come on, Rob. You and I both know what FEMA is.
Well,
we've seen it for decades. But this is like the piece de resistance of federal ineptitude.
Well, Tony, I've told this story before that when the hurricanes hit southeastern North Carolina, there was a guy who we were friends with. He was actually a local news reporter, and he was very handy. He could do things himself. He went to FEMA, and he's like, man, I can fix my house myself. I just need like a gallon of paint. And they're like, no, you're saying your house is not safe to live in. You must go in this hotel. And he's like, I don't need to go in a hotel. I just need a gallon of paint. And for weeks on end, they made him live in this taxpayer-funded hotel instead of just giving the guy a gallon of paint. And it sounds like all these years later, absolutely nothing has changed.
No, they're not letting people into. So right now, the story is that they have to get the cadaver dogs looking over the area, and that like they have to make like there are still bodies that haven't been accounted for, and so we can't let anyone into the area. I understand that. I mean, there is a level of understanding that we want to make sure that we're not uninterring these bodies and disturbing that. I get that. However, I'm going to say this. If you are perhaps a pastor or a church owner and your church is left standing, or maybe you're a family member on your property, you know for a fact no one died inside your house, and you want to scour those ashes for any family heirlooms or memories that have not yet been destroyed by the weather since then, you should be allowed to do that. FEMA won't not let you on the property. There are entire sections of the town that are walled off. We wanted to get footage of a church that the only building left standing in 2 blocks was just this church that is just miraculously untouched. It's miraculous to me. And we wanted to go get footage of it, take pictures of it, maybe even fly a drone over it. No. The FAA has completely banned like drones from flying over the city because that's where their time is. I mean, this is what the federal government is doing. They're completely upending a local rescue effort. And the natives really just want the federals to stay out of the way.
What have you heard about the land grab?
People around here are not as focused about that.
Okay.
I got to tell you, I've heard like 856 conspiracy theories from everyone everywhere. It's Oprah who was holding a Lockheed Martin laser on her left shoulder, and on her right she was holding a Jewish oil baron, and they were like kind of walking like a cowboy into Maui and just shooting everything in sight. No one here thinks that. No one here. I mean, I've seen about 2 or 3 different honest to God stories as to what actually started the fires. And yes, there is some, ambulance chaser kind of individuals who are trying to grab land. That's consistent with every single national disaster in what's considered a valuable property location. And look, I understand that a lot of conspiracy theories are batting 1,000 right now, but maybe the laser testing Oprah theory, just come on, guys, just just give it a little bit of pause before we hop on the Smokey and the Bandit Express.
Tony Kenna is our guest. You find him at the Tonus on Twitter, talking about his reporting in Maui, which is phenomenal. I mean, it's just so good. We don't have time to get a fraction of it here. Find it on Twitter at the Tonus Casey.
I'm wondering what you've heard about the loss of life, the numbers.
So the number that's set out there, and this really does frustrate a lot of younger Maui people who don't necessarily understand why media often cite death the way that they do. But there's right now the death toll, last I checked, is over 116. However, I have heard from several verified sources. Again, I'm not allowed to speak to the police information officer, so I don't know.
Wait. What did you just say? You're not allowed to speak to the police public information officer?
Rob, they're nowhere to be found. I have scoured this island like Sherlock Holmes down Baker Street. I have not found them. I have been turned away by the National Guard. I have been turned away by police officials. I've been turned away by goons, one of whom I knew, who I swear to God was working for a mercenary company. We were West Point squaddies together back in the day. Like I have been turned away by everyone trying to find the person whose job it is to 8 to 5 talk to media.
Unbelievable.
I can't find them.
Unbelievable.
So putting that aside, the loss of life, I mean, there's rumors there's over 500 in body bags. There's still over 1,000 unaccounted for. And I'm not trying to gamble and be gauche in any way, shape, or form, but I would not be surprised that at the end of this, there's over 1,000 dead.
That's absolutely unbelievable. All right, before we let you go, what is your plan now? Like, how long will you be there? Are you there indefinitely? When is your plan to return to the kind of the continental United States?
We have several more reports that we need to investigate. There's a lot more content that comes out of here. It just takes time to release because unlike CNN, who's willing to trespass and walk on the bodies of those who you can maybe see in the bottom of the shot, giving the rest of media a bad name here, we're taking our time to make sure we do things right. That said, we're probably going to be leaving around Tuesday morning after we get a lot of these shots finished, at least for now.
Will you be covering Biden's visit?
Well, we're going to try, but there's only one major road in and out of Lahaina, and then the other road is like a single lane road along the cliffs, like out of a Disney movie, like horrible place. You never want to walk on a road like that. So we're not even sure if we're going to be able to get close. And I mean, and that's for us. If we wake up early and get down there, there's no guaranteed chance. I mean, we'll cover it. But, I mean, getting close to him on his 2-hour in-flight photo op is unlikely.
Man, we could spend an hour with you, and everybody should totally follow you on Twitter, at the Tonus. You've got all sorts of in-depth kind of evidence of the things you've been talking about here. Tony, man, stay safe. You're doing a phenomenal job, and thank you for spending a few moments with us today to talk about what's going on the ground in Maui.
Thanks, guys. Keep Indiana warm for me.
Yeah. Safe travels, too. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, should anybody watch this presidential debate and China's economy and how it affects you? That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
With mortgage rates as high as they are, you might be inclined to improve your current space rather than buy, and Galaxy Concrete Coatings can help, especially with your garage, your driveway, your pool deck, your porch, your patio, whatever it is. They'll take that dark, gray, cracked, dirty concrete and make it fantastic. They'll lay down a coating that's 4 times stronger than epoxy. It dries fast, has a really strong hold, the color won't fade, and it's super easy to clean. Call them today in Fishers, 317-751-9070. That's Galaxy Concrete Coating, 317-751-9070. Find them online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
How would you like to free up some serious cash? Or at the very least, cut your monthly payments by $1,000 or so each month? Hey, what's up? It's Hammer here from the Hammer and Nigel Show. People are doing that every day with Loan Pronto's all new Equity Express line of credit. Listen, your home value is way up, and Loan Pronto can help you access the equity without touching your primary mortgage. You can get tens of thousands out with very little paperwork and usually without an appraisal. With Loan Pronto, you can get $50,000 or $100,000 out right now. Pay off all of those 27% interest credit cards or your personal loans. For every $10,000 of debt that you consolidate, you can cut your monthly payments by nearly $500. Stop paying insane credit card rates. Call Loan Pronto right now. 317-953-6525. 317-953-6525 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Are you working way too hard for way too little? There's never been a better time to consider a career in IT. You could enjoy a recession-resistant career in a rewarding field with plenty of growth opportunities and often flexible work environments. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new career in months, not years. Take classes online or on campus, and financial aid is available to qualified students, including the GI Bill. Now is the time. mycomputercareer.edu.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-0696.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com
or call 800-583-0696. That's 800-583-0696.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I'd rather be folding laundry.
This is gonna be fun.
Said no one ever. Also, no one enjoys wasting time in traffic. That's why we love saving you time. Matt Baird Traffic.
Pickups are already starting.
93 WIBC.
9:51. Good morning. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
So during the break, I was trying to be just a good coworker, and I looked to Casey, and I was trying to be, chatty Cathy, and said, "Hey, so your daughter goes back to school today at Purdue?" And Casey goes, "Oh, really?"
Well,
how could you not be aware if your kid is starting college classes?
Let me just defend myself for a second. She's been going to summer classes in Lafayette, so she's been going back and forth between Indy and West Lafayette all summer. She's been in classes, so it's like, yes, it is the first day, and it's the first day for many people at Purdue, but she's been up there a lot. So it's like one semester ends and then the next one begins. There really hasn't been this, she's been home with us all summer long, because she hasn't.
Your kid is taking, Purdue is just stealing your money at this point, Casey. Yeah, I cannot believe this class your daughter is taking.
I know. It sounds fun, but when I think about it, it's a lot of money for this.
It counts. I must have this class or a class in this sphere of classes in order to get a degree from this esteemed university. What is the class?
She's got to take so many electives to get her degree, and she chose wine tasting.
Oh, yeah.
Has nothing to do with her degree, but she's got to take this elective, which is, I think, what angers a lot of people about college.
They're stealing your money.
Because this has nothing to do with biology, which is going to be her degree. It's an elective.
Yeah.
She chose something fun, which is nice, and it will broaden her horizon and expand her life to know, I guess, what kind of wine she likes.
Yeah.
But wine tasting. She did send me a text earlier that said, first day of school ever. And that's a little bittersweet. As I think back when she was in kindergarten and I was dropping her off. And, Rob, as a new parent, I will tell you, one of the best things about having a child is watching them grow up. It's also one of the worst things.
Can we talk real quick about a guy I just saw in the news? Because they did some big expose on one of the local news stations about Purdue being back to school today. I had no idea why that's such a huge deal, but whatever. And it is the professor guy on detached college campus. And what I'm talking about is I'm talking about Purdue, IU, Indiana State. I'm not talking about if you're a professor at Ivy Tech or IUPUI, because you live in Indianapolis, right? I'm talking about the professor who is on the detached college campus, where the college campus is the thing in that town and it's fairly isolated outside of that thing.
Yeah.
And this guy they had on the news looked like he had the same haircut he probably had in about 1985 when he first started going to school at Purdue. And these people, they're almost like, in a weird way, Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
Where they're just members of the chocolate factory with Willy Wonka.
And nothing changes ever.
Nothing ever changes. And nothing exists outside of the world on that little college campus and community in which they live. It's really kind of pathetic.
I just keep thinking of Donald Sutherland from Animal House with him wearing the cable knit sweater and his butt cheeks hanging out.
I mean, so this guy looked like he had to be 60-ish years old, which means 40 years ago, he probably would have been on the Purdue campus. And he's got the same haircut, except it's all gray. And he's got this big cheesy grin on his face. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, for the past 40 years, every day has probably been the exact same day for this guy. He is someone who just cannot grow up and lives in this little isolated bubble where whatever happens on the West Lafayette campus and in the community of West Lafayette, that is his whole world, and that is all he cares about. And it is like, just watch this go. And these people, we society pays these people. This is where your money's going.
Society pays. You mean mom and dad pay? You know what? And last night, so Sunday is when we pay bills. And after I paid the Citizens Energy bill, we rectified the College Direct account and made sure that there's enough money in there to finish out
that guy.
To pay that guy the last year of school. Last year at Purdue.
That dude has been stuck on the Purdue campus since about 1983, and he has no intention of ever leaving.
I wonder if he's going to be teaching a wine tasting class.
That's probably the guy teaching the course.
All right, you're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 9:56, 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Every business deserves a great deal. That's why, for a limited time, we're launching the Mobile Made Free event. With Comcast Business Internet, new and existing customers can get 1 year of unlimited mobile for free. Yep, you heard that right. An entire year, free. It's our best internet, powered by the next generation 10G network and with 99.9% reliability. Plus 1 line of free mobile for a year. The Mobile Made Free event is happening now.
Get started with internet and advanced security for $39 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Plus, for a limited time only, ask how new and existing customers can get 1 year of unlimited mobile for free during the Mobile Made Free event. Call or go online today to learn more. Ends 9/21/2023. EcoBill and autopay required. New 100 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Mobile offer requires 100 megabits per second internet and new unlimited intro mobile service. Other restrictions apply.
If your wedding anniversary is approaching and you're looking for the kind of value, service, and quality that chain stores just can't provide, that means a visit to Barrington Jewels in Clearwater Crossing. You must see the truly one-of-a-kind creations at Barrington. You'll find exquisite and unique anniversary bands at great prices. Save time and effort and shop Barrington Jewels first. Consider upgrading her diamond, a truly special way to show your love. Don't wait. Get to Barrington Jewels today. And remember, you haven't seen a diamond until you've seen a Barrington diamond.
Uline is here for the hard workers. For the ones rolling up their sleeves, working round the clock, and getting the job done. You're dedicated to doing what it takes to keep a business growing. Uline is dedicated to helping you make that happen. Working 7 days a week, staying fully stocked and ready to ship any of our 41,000 items the same day. Uline, your shipping and industrial supply specialists. Visit uline.com.
Reggie was a nurse for 16 years.
I had become very burnt out. I wasn't making good money.
Then it happened.
There was an ad for My Computer Career, and it just spoke to me.
My Computer Career was the best decision he ever made.
I could study anywhere from my laptop, and I was working in the first couple of weeks of me being in class.
Reggie hit a home run.
The field is teeming with jobs.
Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
The school is amazing.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how hot you can expect it to get this week. Plus, Ryan Hedrick reports on what Hoosier searchers are working on in Hawaii. And one expert weighs in on how to fix Hoosier students' problem with reading. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Heating and from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios on 93 WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
Relentless rain. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. There's flooding in Southern California from the coast to the mountains and deserts from Tropical Storm Hillary, now downgraded to a post-tropical cyclone.
The LA River, normally bone dry, maybe a little stream every once in a while, but now because of this storm and all the inches of rain that have fallen over the last 24 hours, it is a fast-flowing river, and all of that rain and all of that water causing flooding throughout the region, especially in Los Angeles. We're hearing of some power outages as well and flight cancellations. Parking lots are underwater and streets are filling up, making driving not only really difficult but also dangerous.
Fox's Jeff Paul in Los Angeles. There are now 850 people considered unaccounted for in the search for wildfire victims in Hawaii. Governor Josh Green says he expects the confirmed death toll, 114, to go up with the search moving into a new phase.
On CBS's Face the Nation, he said some remains may never be found.
So at 85% of the land's been covered. Now we go into the larger buildings, which require peeling back some of the floors and structures. That last 15% could take weeks.
President Biden and the First Lady are visiting Maui today to get a first-hand look at the damage and meet with survivors.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. The White House announces more funding for rural high-speed internet.
President Biden has set a goal for high-speed internet for all by 2030. And $667 million in new grants and loans is intended to help reach that objective. This is the fourth round of funding in the Reconnect program run by the Department of Agriculture to connect high-speed broadband in rural parts of the country. Congress approved federal broadband projects in the bipartisan infrastructure law last year, with telecommunications companies winning bids to deploy fiber optic networks. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The first Des Moines Register Iowa poll of the 2024 Republican presidential campaign has former President Trump at 42%, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis at 19%. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's going to get hot today, and in fact, it already is. It's 81 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Temps will be in the low 90s with high humidity, says Jason Puma with the National Weather Service.
If you must work outside during those peak heating hours, take frequent breaks. Stay hydrated, try to spend some time in air conditioning, and just watch yourself.
And he says it's going to get hotter as well, with temps on Thursday reaching the upper 90s before cooling off soon after over the weekend. For now, air quality alerts and heat advisories are covering most of the state. The man charged with the murder of State Trooper Aaron Smith was in court this morning. It was the first time that Eddie Jones faced a judge, and he's accused of stealing a car and then running over Smith with it during a police chase in Plainfield back in June. A Hoosier restaurant owner says some of her friends have family members in Maui. Ryan Hedrick reports.
And naturally, they're worried sick. Gina Rose now tells Wish TV that those friends have been trying to get in touch with family members, and the wildfires are making it difficult.
Communication is still quite sparse, but they've been able to, some of them, track some people down.
Indiana Task Force 1 has 70 members conducting search and rescue efforts. It is now an international effort. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A boy was shot on the east side Sunday. It was at a home near New York and Sherman. Police have indicated it may have been an accident. Students in Indiana are struggling to read, and that's apparent by the state's latest iRead scores. Indiana Secretary of Education Dr. Katie Jenner says even just reading to your child will help them get a jump on reading for themselves.
Every night that you're reading to your child 20 to 30 minutes, it's a little thing that makes a massive difference.
Talking to Indy Politics, she says it helps them develop what's called phonemic awareness. The Indiana Fever snapped a 2-game skid on Sunday. They beat Phoenix 83-73 on the road. I'm Kurt Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Your child need a school that understands their learning style and keeps them engaged in the learning process? Indiana Gateway Digital Academy is an online public school offering a supportive learning environment, empowering students through a whole child approach with passionate teachers focused on student well-being and positive academic outcomes. Indiana Gateway Digital Academy is a tuition-free school now enrolling grades K through 12. Learn more at k12.com/INGDA. Indiana Gateway Digital Academy, committed to the success of every student.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, August 21st. It's 5 minutes after 10. This is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. His name is Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels, and we're both glad that you're joining us today. You can join on YouTube if you'd like. Type in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar. So President Biden, he is preparing to blanket the airwaves with a $25 million television and digital ad campaign. He's going to target mostly battleground states. If he's smart, he would realize at this point they're all battleground states for his presidency. It's a minute-long ad. It's titled Fought Back, and it really focuses on the economy. He's really trying to improve your perception about his handling of the economy.
Think about this. It's like, okay, I know I'm doing a crappy job, but if I just lie to you enough, then you won't believe I'm doing as crappy a job as I'm actually doing. I can unconvince you that I'm really doing a crappy job.
Okay, so a new Fox News poll says that people disapprove of his foreign policy by 55% and the economy by 61%, border security also by 61%, and inflation 67%. So these are pretty bad numbers for a guy who's asking if he can do it again.
What could he possibly say, though, Casey?
He's trying to say we don't understand his Biden.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, what? That's going to be the premise of the ad? Is it's really great. You're just too stupid.
Yeah, pretty much. You don't get it. He also takes a nice swipe at Donald Trump and. Donald Trump, by the way, we haven't mentioned this, of course, has said that he's not going to debate on Wednesday. But Joe Biden takes a swipe at him, calling it the big MAGA agenda. And they're blaming Republicans now, saying that it's because of Republicans. That's why people don't like Joe Biden. And just a reminder, if you, like me, paid bills over the weekend, it has nothing to do with the Republicans. It has a whole lot to do with prices going up at the grocery store, at the gas station, how much you're paying for your electricity, your energy costs, just everything.
All right, so Biden had a big dealio, I think this was on Friday, with the Prime Minister of Japan. Mm-hmm. And it is another wild and wacky edition of Biden versus the teleprompter. Okay. Now, he does this. We've laid this out for you. There's actually oftentimes a pattern to Biden's completely nonsensical, embarrassing verbal flubs. And if you will listen to the audio we're about to play, you're going to hear it again. And this is why our show is so widely listened to, because we catch on to these sort of things and no one else does. So if you notice with Biden, you will see a pattern emerge. We've laid this out for you before. He's reading his notes as he is here, poorly as he is here. He'll lose his place as he does here. He'll stumble as he does here. He'll mumble as he does here. And then he will talk about something totally unrelated to what he was addressing. So remember, here's the order, and let's see if this follows the pattern. Reads notes poorly, loses place, stumbles, mumbles, then talks about something totally unrelated. Go.
Today, we've committed to launch a new, what we call a supply chain early warning system. It's going to, a supply chain early warning system pilot, and which will alert our nations to disruptions of certain products and materials like critical minerals or batteries, so we can get ahead of the issues as they appear with the experience that we've experienced during the pandemic. Excuse me, this is falling off. There you go.
Was he talking about his earpiece falling off? It was so distracting. You know who really loves this more than anyone? Gavin Newsom. He's sitting in the wings saying, yes, just keep talking, keep going, keep going.
I mean, remember in grade school, Casey, they taught you how to construct a sentence and construct a paragraph. And clearly the paragraph ends when you are done with the topic in question and you have moved on to a new set of thoughts. And your paragraph should usually be constrained to somewhere between 4 and 6 sentences. Well, Biden, it's like the paragraphs just slam together. He does not hit
no break.
He does not hit return to start a new paragraph. And sometimes it is as though the paragraph will start in the middle of a sentence and they just all ram together. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, there's just always some nonsensical thing that isn't even related to the thing he's trying to say.
Well, and people wonder about the national pride. Well, yeah, when that guy is the president, he can't even speak. And this time, honestly, that wasn't even that's not even Biden versus teleprompter. That's Biden versus note cards that are in front of him.
Right.
And he's sitting there doing that with the prime minister of Japan. That guy, who didn't he call him the president too?
Yes, he called him
and then the prime minister corrected him. I mean, like, it's a shame.
It's like me going to Kev, the guitar player for Uno Gold. I'm the drummer. I mean, it's just like,
yeah,
dude, these, and this may seem like well, you know, he got the guy's title wrong. Who cares? They spend hours when you are the president of the United States going over every intricate little detail.
Protocol.
Exactly, because you never know. Every culture is different. Mm-hmm. What thing you're going to do that could possibly offend the people in question. Something that may seem like a small potatoes to you is a huge deal to them. And actually, I guess it kind of should be a big deal because they're one of your biggest allies. And the fact that you don't know, like, what would you call Biden? The king of America?
Right. The prime minister?
He's the
president.
And he does this stuff all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so here he is at a different event. And this time, it seems like he appears to forget the name of Maui.
The Army helicopters help fire suppression and efforts on the Big Island because there's still some burning on the Big Island, not the one where you see on television all the time.
You know, the place.
The one you see on television all the time.
That place.
Casey, let's play that again, and I'm going to try this to see if you think I've forgotten the name of Indianapolis. Are you ready? All right, let's play Biden again.
Mm-hmm. The Army helicopters help fire suppression and efforts on the Big Island because there's still some burning on the Big Island, not the one where you see on television all the time.
Okay, I live in a suburb west. Let me start this again. Classic Biden. I live in a suburb west of near the center of the state. Mm-hmm. You know, the big city, the one that you see on TV all the time. You know, the one with the giant monument, mm-hmm. the world's largest Christmas tree. That one.
Yeah, Indianapolis.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. And he's going there today.
I mean, he totally forgot the name of the place.
Yeah. Well, go back on vacation, dude. He has spent 40% of his presidency on vacation. And that's where he is now. He's going to take a little time out to go to Hawaii and be more disruptive and then go back to vacation. He's on a permanent vacation, it seems like.
By the way, Casey, should we acknowledge that we've been nominated for a major award?
A major award. It's going to come in a box that says Fragile.
Much to the dismay of many, we're nominated for us. It's called the Spectrum Award, right?
Yeah, it's the Indiana Broadcasters Association Best Personality or Team.
Oh.
So we're in the team category.
Okay, so let me make this very clear to those who are making the choice. If you choose us, you do not have to worry about me giving the acceptance speech. We're going to totally let Casey do that.
I don't really think we get to make a speech.
What?
No, there's no acceptance speech.
What?
And by the way, they send that to broadcasters from other states.
Oh!
So it's not people in Indiana who will be determining.
Oh, so Holcomb can't.
Right. Because it can't be like, Rob Kendall, I can't stand that guy. He's not winning. No, they send it to judges in other states, other broadcasting associations. That way there's not favoritism like that.
So we were nominated for Best Personality or Team.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, when I worked with the two women, they won that award.
Did they?
I was the producer, and so I think I might be the first person, at least I'm just going to say it until somebody can disprove it, if I win, the first person to ever win as both a producer and a host, which should probably put me in a Hall of Fame of some sort.
You think so?
But very quickly, we and I said this on our post.
Did they acknowledge you when they won?
I don't know. I was doing the show while they went to the dinner.
Okay. Just wondering, like, we'll have to give Kevin his props.
Absolutely. No, so we do want to make very clear, if there is a speech, I will not give it, so you don't have to worry about me doing something ridiculous. Also, though, we do want to say it is in all seriousness, it is an opportunity for us to thank you, our very fabulous audience. This is all about you. It is not about us. If there were no you, there would be no us. And any success that we have, even if we don't win, it's an honor to be nominated, but we owe this to you because you are the greatest audience in all the land, and we couldn't do this without you every day. So thank you for letting us pay our mortgage.
WIBC is also nominated for Station of the Year.
Oh, I don't care about
fantastic.
them. Yeah, whatever.
Matt Baer is being nominated as well. You're just like, give it to me. It's all about me.
Everybody won but Rob.
Well, if it doesn't go our way, I think we know who to blame. It is 15 minutes after 10.
By the way, I hate to stop you.
Yeah.
We have been on these airwaves now for an hour and 15 minutes. I think that is the fourth Jefferson Shreve ad I have seen. And man, he gets more dislikable by the ad. Can I just put that out there?
You just did. Congratulations. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
I alphabetized my soundboard. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. F?
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
I have to go to S for Sopranos. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think you got it.
It's so clean now. It's fantastic. Yeah, we have clearly run out of things to talk about. There's nothing else going on in the world.
It's a great world, everything's so.
This show is stupid.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You have a kid on the way and you need more room. Let's sell house. Okay. But the traditional home selling process, that's the opposite of okay. That's awful. Matt Baer here. Hey, when these life-changing events happen, they're blessings, but also scary and way overwhelming more than they should be. Open Door eliminates all of the hassles of the home selling process. No more showings, stagings, listings. Everything is done online. When I sold my house north of Kokomo, there were so many people involved. Someone always had to talk to someone, then someone else. It took forever. Open Door, you are in total control. Request an offer in minutes, receive an all-cash offer in days. You pick the closing day and sell on your schedule. There isn't always a perfect time to move, but Open Door can help anytime be a perfect time. Visit opendoor.com or download the Open Door app to get started. That's opendoor.com or download the Open Door app. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage Incorporated, license 02061130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage LLC and its other markets. Terms and conditions apply. apply.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and it's very rare that you find a true lifetime warranty, but that's exactly what C&J now has available for well owners. Right now, it's 15% off all lifetime pump packages, including the incredible constant pressure pump systems. It's a great time to upgrade your well and pump system to a lifetime of better water. C&J can only do this because they really do install the best equipment. So good, in fact, that they're offering you a lifetime warranty. Don't wait. Call C&J for yours today, 317-852-WELL or cjforwater.com.
There is still time to get a patio this season. Get on the books now for a patio this fall. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts, changing the way Indy thinks about concrete.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's a mean guy.
And Casey Daniels.
She's the nicest person I've ever met.
On 93 WIBC.
I prefer a Pinot Noir.
People are so angry at you.
They're not angry at me. They're just commenting.
No, they're angry.
Are they mad?
Well, I mean,
I'm not getting anger.
If you're writing a paragraph to someone, I mean, it is.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So today is the first day of school at Purdue, and most people know my daughter is a senior this year.
Yeah.
And one of the classes that she's taking is wine tasting.
Yes.
This is an elective class. It's not towards her degree. It's one of those required things that you have to pay for to get the degree. But now people are commenting on wine tasting. Somebody tagged both of us and said, hey, don't hate on the wine tasting class. I took it at Purdue, and it was actually a great class.
Okay, so let's clarify in case somebody missed the segment. We had lamented the fact that does not seem like a good use of your money, and I would call that a scheme and a scam, that they make people take classes like that from that little sphere or genre in order to get a degree. It's just a money grab because it has nothing to do with the biology by which she will use or skills or knowledge to pursue that career. Now, look, I can say this because I'm a person, and I freely admit this. My degree is in general studies. I did that for two reasons.
Yeah.
Number one, it was one of two options. You did not have to take math in order to get a degree. I literally asked that question when I walked in, when they asked, what do you want to do? And two, I was only in college because I saw a lot of very stupid people who I went to school with, who I was not going to let them go through life having some sort of one-up on me saying they had a college degree and I didn't. As a result, I took classes like the history of jazz, where your whole class centered around writing a paper about the Jazz Fest. A history of Jimi Hendrix, I got 104% in that one. History of the Beatles, I got 104% in that one. Rock 201, Rock 301, history of television. I mean, I used to get letters every whatever it was, semester, however they send those out, about the prowess of my studying capacity, what dean's list, whatever they call those. I've still got those letters.
Yeah.
And I was a horrible student in high school, but I was like near the top.
Yeah.
3.8 or
you
whatever it was.
You applied yourself in college because you were paying for it.
It's pretty hard to screw up the history of the Beatles, Casey.
You sound like Jack Black in School of Rock. We're going to do rock appreciation.
In fact, I was so far ahead in my Jimi Hendrix class. That is I assume it still is a real class that was about Jimi Hendrix. It was a 400 level class, by the way, that I don't even think I had to take the final, and I still would have got, because in college they don't give you A pluses. You get A, B, C, D. I was so far ahead in that class that I could have not taken the final exam and still got an A, but I wanted to have that 100 plus for my own personal pride.
Sure, you want to get that GPA up there. Well, so this is a girl who's studying biology, and a few weeks ago she was here on the show, and she was talking about CRISPR-Cas gene editing, right?
Yeah, sure.
And now we're talking about wine tasting. But somebody had mentioned something to you that actually they teach a lot more than you don't just sit around and drink wine. You have to learn about the grapes and the soils and regional things, what grows good in different areas.
Well, and they did. I've not reviewed the most recent budget the way I should have because I've been busy with other things. But at one point, the taxpayers were sending huge amounts of money to study grapes at Purdue because I famously remember talking to, when I was in the professional licensing agency, and we've told this story before, when I was the state pharmacy board director, I about had an aneurysm when I found out how the funding works. And what I mean by that is if you're a barber, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a pharmacist, you send huge amounts of money for your license to the professional licensing agency. And they sell you on this, which is a giant lie, that this money goes to monitor your profession to make sure that, everybody who's dispensing pills is qualified and safe and blah, blah, blah. That's a giant joke because that agency, I'm sure to this day, still remains wholly understaffed and the oversight is a joke and everything else. But what I found out was the majority of that money, all the money, in fact, goes into, they collect it there. It's like a harvesting center. You send your check in, we collect it. And then it goes into the general fund for the state of Indiana. So all of this money, these tens of millions of dollars that get collected, it goes into the general fund. We take and give it. And then the PLA has to go back and beg for money out of the money that you sent them. And may have changed a little bit. It was about 25% of every dollar you send in, if you have a licensed profession, actually goes back to the agency that oversees licenses. And I remember talking to a very high-profile lobbyist at the time about this, and he looked at it, I said, this is complete crap. This is when I was still naive, and I actually still thought there were good guys and bad guys, and I'm like waving my hands going, oh my gosh, if only someone knew about this, they would make all these changes, and it would be so much different.
They knew.
And I remember telling this guy who was very, very influential as a lobbyist and in the government, and I will not out the person because we are still friends, and I would not subject him to that. But I remember telling him this, and I said, why would they do this? It was, operating from the standpoint of, well, we're Republicans. We're supposed to be fiscally conservative. We're blah, blah, blah. And I said, why would we do this? And he looks at me and smiles and goes, how else would we fund studying grapes at Purdue? So, yes, I did know about the wine, emphasis on wine at Purdue. However, you're still not going to change my mind. That is still a colossal ripoff that you have to pay for that for your daughter who wants to be a biologist.
Yeah. Well, maybe she'll be a big time sommelier or something. You never know. She could parlay that into.
She wants to be a what?
Sommelier.
What the hell is that?
That's the wine expert. There's people who are experts at wine.
They have a name for that?
Yeah.
Not just a wine expert?
Yeah, it's true. It's called a sommelier, and they make big bucks,
Of course,
too.
they have a name for
There's
it.
experts, and they give out awards of the best wine of the year.
Oh, yes. How exciting.
Hey, let's talk about John Fetterman and his new look. Have you seen this?
He looks like Walter White.
From Breaking Bad,
Yes!
right? Okay, so he used to have the goatee, and now he has shaved off the goatee, and instead he has a mustache, and he's wearing glasses. I'm going to tell you, I think it's a better look.
Oh, he looks incredibly better, but
Yeah.
he's so creepy that now it's creepy that he looks just like Walter White. If you have not seen this photo, you have to search this out. New York Post has a big article on it. Anybody else, you'd go, well, that's kind of funny and interesting. But given who it is, you would say, that is super weird, and you are still super weird.
Looks like a totally different guy. Apparently, he made a bet with his 13-year-old son, and he lost. And part of the bet was that he had to change his look. He looks completely different now because he's lost the weight, too.
Yeah.
And he lost most of the facial hair.
He still, however, cannot form a complete sentence.
No, this is
But
true.
he can't take a selfie.
And there's been a poll that came out that said 50% of Pennsylvania voters disapprove of his job performance.
He hasn't even been there.
Yeah.
How would you know whether he's doing a good job or not?
That's part of the disapproval. And do you want to talk about the other look?
Yes, this is annoying
trending?
me. This is
Tiffany Gomez.
This is
She's
annoying me.
I'm telling you right now, the plane lady.
Yes, the well-assembled lady who lost it on the airplane. And I had said for whatever that was, a month where she disappeared, I said there's something oddly endearing about the fact that she disappeared because it does tell you, hey, this person clearly was not seeking the limelight. This is not the cash me outside girl. She probably was on some sort of substance and she's uber embarrassed and she just wants to disappear and go live her life.
Yeah.
And there's something that is wildly just comforting about knowing there are still people out there who do not seek publicity. And it's like any other great mystery, like the Bermuda Triangle or the city of Atlantis or who killed Kennedy. I just don't want to know who she was talking about. The mystery will always be better than whatever the answer actually was. And now she's popping up on Twitter, and now she's got one of these. This post annoys me, Casey.
She says one moment doesn't define you, but it can define your purpose. And then there's a picture of her, and the thing is, she tagged it.
Yes.
And this is where the problem
Yes.
is. Okay, so she tagged it with TMFINR.
What's that mean?
That
Kev.
is not real. You remember she said,
that's what that is. I was looking at that going, what in the world
And then
is that?
she hashtagged it with self-love, empowerment, motivation, and here's the kicker. Hashtag stay tuned.
Now I'm done with it.
Tuned.
Now I'm done with it because now you have entered into the you have entered into the phase of you're going to monetize,
Yep.
and you're just
She's got something coming.
Nope. You know
Okay.
what? You know what I would do if I were her.
What?
This is if you were actually in it to make money. She's got to go on Rogan.
Yeah.
Rogan is the perfect place for her because he's into this. Or it's the weird.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he loves the UFOs and the supernatural and the wild and the wacky.
Get it out of her what she was talking
and whatever
about.
she's going to do. But what is she actually going to do other than tell this story?
Okay, well, I think the interesting thing about this is a beautiful picture of her. She's sitting on the kitchen floor. She's got jeans on. They're cuffed up. She's just wearing a T-shirt.
Why is she
She's
sitting
lovely.
on the kitchen floor?
She's barefoot, and anybody knows you don't put your naked feet out on the internet for free. She's missing out on money.
But what is this? Like, what is this photo supposed to mean? I mean, who sits on the kitchen floor?
And she's barefoot in the kitchen. Is she announcing something?
Well, let me rephrase that. What person who wants to engage in decent society is sitting on the kitchen floor?
It's supposed to be very casual. And
this
the
is
fact
disappointing to me, Casey.
She's got her feet showing, makes her vulnerable, but she's leaving money on the table.
Yeah, no, trust me, it just sounds like she's about to not leave money on the table. Casey.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, when we come back.
Yeah.
So, I believe John is his name. He's a very loyal listener to the show. His day job is he is a truck driver.
Yeah.
And he had called last week and was talking about making a rap song.
I'm excited.
About Indiana government and taxes. And we chuckled and said, yeah, right, you're a rapper. Sure you are. Ha, 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 very funny. Well, it turns out he does rap. He did do a rap song about Indiana taxes and government. It is basically every nickname and funny little bit we do on this show wrapped up into one song. He names people's names. I have the cover. He posted on YouTube, which we'll tell everybody where they can find that after we play it. And it is, I posted at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter if you want to go there now and see the actual album cover he made for this thing. It is.
He put some effort into it.
It's so great. We're gonna play you the rap when we come back.
All right, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Heading to the Pacific. It's mostly sunny and 82 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:31. President Biden and the First Lady are on their way to Hawaii to look at the damage from wildfires. Fox's Jared Halpern.
The president says he knows how profoundly loss can impact a family and community and pledges to do everything in his power to help Maui recover and rebuild from this tragedy. He and the First Lady will meet with survivors and families dealing with the loss of loved ones. President Biden also gets a chance to be briefed on the search and recovery efforts and pay respects, a White House official says, to the lives lost. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Former President Jimmy Carter and former First Lady Rosalind Carter continue to have family at their side. Jimmy Carter has been under hospice care at his home in Plains, Georgia, while his wife Rosalind was recently diagnosed with dementia. Their grandson, Josh Carter, recently told People magazine that it's clear they're in their final chapter. President Carter is the longest living former president ever at age 98. I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop.
Sarah, you don't look so good. Are you okay?
To be honest, I did it again last night. I promised myself it would be just one glass of wine, and I drank the whole bottle.
You need to get the drinking under control, Sarah. Trust me, I know. Wine o'clock used to be my favorite time of day, but I found that one glass always turned into more and realized I needed help. I did some research and found naltrexone.
Naltrexone?
It's an FDA-approved medication that reduces cravings and pleasure from drinking, making it easier to drink less or quit alcohol altogether. I started seeing results almost immediately.
How'd you get started with naltrexone?
It's easy with Or Health. Just send them a text and get a secure link to their private online assessment. One of their licensed medical professionals will evaluate your assessment, and if medication is right for you, prescribe it directly online. They even deliver your prescription right to your front door. No doctor's office visits required.
Thanks, Anne. I'm texting now.
You really can stop drinking or just drink less. Text PROMISE to 323232 to get started today. Text the word PROMISE to 323232. Text PROMISE to 323232.
Reggie was a nurse for 16 years.
I had become very burnt out. I wasn't making good money.
Then it happened.
There was an ad for My Computer Career, and it just spoke to me.
My Computer Career was the best decision he ever made.
I could study anywhere from my laptop, and I was working in the first couple of weeks of me being in class.
Reggie hit a home run.
The field is teeming with jobs.
Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
The school is amazing.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
At Peterman Brothers, we know how critical AC can be to your comfort.
And we want to make sure you're comfortable in every season.
That's why right now when you install a qualifying AC system with Peterman Brothers, we'll include the furnace for free.
That's right, Indiana. The furnace is free.
And if you schedule today, we'll install your new system tomorrow, guaranteed.
Visit PetermanHVAC.com to schedule online in seconds.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Indiana Digital Learning School is the perfect choice for students who desire an academic challenge with an education plan tailored to their individual needs and interests. Do you have an advanced teen that would benefit from dual enrollment opportunities that allow them to earn high school and college credits? Indiana Digital Learning School is a tuition-free online public school now enrolling for the 2023-24 school year. Learn more at k12.com/INDLS. Indiana Digital Learning School. Committed to the success of every student.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatments at 317-559-PAIN.
I'm so sorry you have just reached my answering machine.
Turn your mic on. Yeah, if you'd like to contribute, the number 317-684-8444 at 10:35 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Okay, so last week, I forget how we got on this, but John, I believe is his name. He calls the show quite a bit. He's a truck driver, so he listens, all the time in his car. He's a big fan. We love the guy. He's been around a long time, dating way back to various incarnations of this show. And somehow we got on, and I don't even remember how this was, but he called and he said, maybe we said something about the taxes if we did it in a song again or something. Doesn't matter. He said, look, I'm a truck driver, but I'm also a part-time rapper. Mm-hmm. And if you think that me making a rap about government and taxes would make a difference, well, then gosh darn it, I'm willing to do it. And we chuckled and said, oh, you're a truck driver / rapper. Well, sure you are. Yeah. Okay, you go right on ahead. And this must have been, I think this was Friday, in my email inbox. I get an email from this guy, and he goes, here, I have done the rap that I promised to do, and it is now loaded up to YouTube, and here is the cover. And so while you're listening to this, if you're in a safe area, not on your, driving an automobile, you can go to @RobinKendall on Twitter and see I've uploaded the album cover. The album cover is every bit as good as the song. The song's great, and we're going to play it for you. But it is him. I'm going to describe this, Casey. It is John, the truck driver.
Yeah.
And it is a photo of him, and then all around him, there are $100 bills that are burning. And then in front of him, there are photos of all of our favorite little cast of misfits who have ruined the state. Diego, Silent Suzanne, High Tax Holcomb, Duke of Spendingburg, Dr. Bach's gynecologist, Jim Lucas. I mean, it is so well done. Mm-hmm. And the title of this song is, and it's got triple question marks on both sides.
Yeah.
Serve Hoosiers well.
I love it. I love it.
And by the way, the guys, YouTube account is Nebula Entertainment. If you'd like to go play this song back or, hear it later or tell people about it. And it is so well done because he mentions all of the little nicknames we've given people over the years and the little funny quirks we've, described about them.
Yeah.
And it is, should we just...
I haven't heard it. I'm excited to hear it.
You have not heard it. Kev has not heard it. It is just the most wonderful thing ever. Kev, let's go.
First and foremost, shout out to Kendall and Casey on WIBC out of Indianapolis. Hey, Rob, I think we're about to go off the rails a little bit. Hey, Casey, I think it's time for me to blow.
Yes!
It's what it means to serve who just well. Turn your back on us when we need some help. It's obvious you only care about yourselves. Everybody wake up, I got a story to tell. It's what it means to serve who just well. Turn your back on us when we need some help. It's obvious you only care about yourselves. Everybody wake up, I got a story to tell. High tax, Holcomb, lockdown McGee. I got a couple questions, could you answer for me? Oh, wouldn't serve who just well, I see. But you had plenty of time for your boy Malik. And I'm thinking that they hate us. All through inflation, they raised taxation. Over a year ago, they were warned on these airwaves. Property taxes skyrocket, constituents can't pay. Everybody's hurting, they don't care about the damage. They on the more important biz like naming state safe. Don't get me wrong, I love a good tenderloin, but something's gotta be done about these good old boys. This is what it means to serve who just well. Turn your back on us when we need some help. It's obvious you only care about yourselves. Everybody wake up, I got a story to tell. This is what it means to serve who just well. Turn your back on us when we need some help. It's obvious you only care about yourselves. Everybody wake up, I got a story to tell. Everybody's money's tight. Don't we have a surplus? They should give our money back, but it wasn't meant for us. They gave it to the teachers so angry in their red shirts. So many millions spent, but our education's worse. Reaching out for help, I called our next senator, but what did I expect from Todd Young to do the spending curve? I saw a dollar that he didn't want to spend. He said it himself, the spending's never gonna end. Spending gas tax for bridges and roads, I've yet to see a dollar spent on all these potholes. I tried Jim Lucas, see if he would take a look. He was way too busy hate posting on Facebook.
Oh, no.
Really, dude? Here's what it means to serve who just well. Turn your back on us when we need some help. It's obvious you only care about yourselves. Everybody wake up, I got a story to tell. Here's what it means to serve who just well. Turn your back on us when we need some help. It's obvious you only care about yourselves. Everybody wake up, I got a story to tell. Yeah, hello, operator. Yeah, I need a doctor. There's a sickness in Indiana government, and this is the person to fix it. She was put in charge by Governor Holcomb. Yeah, can you put me in with Dr. Vox? Vox. Wait, she's not that kind of doctor?
Wow. That was a great ending.
That was nice.
Is that not the greatest thing ever?
He put a lot of effort into that. Fantastic.
So again, if you would like to see the album cover, we've got it at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. If you want to just get the song yourself, Nebula Entertainment is the account that he posts under, and
serving Hoosiers well.
Does Trucker John perform anywhere?
Here's what I'm thinking. Sometimes you'll see like where rappers and rockers will unite.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe Uno Gold and Trucker John could come together and have some sort of live performance where Uno Gold does the backing music to this this performance.
Do like a Kid Rock kind of thing.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Nice job, John.
Boy, that was great.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's true.
It's painful because it's true.
All right, some traditional voicemail. Somebody raised an interesting point about Biden going to Maui, which he's supposed to do today. We had Tony Kennett on last hour with his fabulous reporting, laying all that out. This person raises an interesting point.
I hear a lot of criticism about the president not going to Hawaii. He is not a first responder, and that is not his job. And there have been tons of reports and footage, and it is so expensive to fly the buffoon and his posse there, not to take into account the money laid out by the Hawaiian government for his security. We spend too much on government, and now we are in debt. I don't know for sure, but I doubt supplies will travel on the Air Force One. Thank you for listening. Take good care. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, so she on one hand has a point.
Yeah.
I would look, we should always be concerned about money and about the cost of things. However, throughout the, long history of this nation, certainly since air and motorcade travel have been prevalent, the President of the United States, in times of national emergency, has sort of always been
the face of the nation.
Right, and as such has immense ability to not only bring information to people and be a healer and be a hugger. And, thank you. Yes, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
But also has the ability to generate revenue. Now, I'm not talking even taxpayer revenue. I'm talking about, these private charities set up, talk about, hey, here's who you should be giving to. Here's who's not going to be a schemer or scammer. So I understand what she's saying. However, and nobody is more against spending government money than me. I think it is an appropriate thing for the president to be involved and be on the ground and bring publicity to and comfort and tell the story of the plight of people involved in national emergency.
Yeah, and especially these being the deadliest wildfires in U.S. history. And the fact that he came on and said no comment when he was first asked about it, and then he did another press conference where it seemed like he forgot Maui. He couldn't come up with a name. He needs to do something to clean up his own image in regards to this.
Okay, before we go to a break, I have no idea. Okay, if you call the show, if you're a person who leaves us voicemails, please identify the topic by which you are talking, because we have so many brilliant takes and so many brilliant segments on this show. When you just give us praise without clarification, it is sometimes tough for us to decipher what you are responding to.
Okay.
And in this case, Casey, this praise was directed to you. I have no idea what this is about. Maybe you'll be able to identify it.
Okay.
Hey, Rob. Hey, Casey. Wow. Casey, that was absolutely spot on. I can't accept any more truth to it than that. Anyway, hope you guys have a great weekend and keep up the good work. See y'all later.
I know what he's talking about.
Oh, you do?
I think so.
What?
I mean, besides just my everyday fabulousness.
No, I agree.
And being awesome and charming and so likable. And, tolerating you on many days. I think he's talking about the rant I went on about Bidenomics on Friday.
Okay.
And listed a bunch of statistics.
I wasn't really paying attention. What'd you say?
Because a lot of people have asked me to post
he got it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, it was just that prices are up 16.9% since Biden took office. You remember what I'm talking
absolutely.
about. That was from Friday's
show. Yes, absolutely.
You were here, right?
I was.
Yeah.
I was here in the physical, yes.
Yeah, so I think that's what he's talking about, how real wages are down 3% since Biden took office, how the nationwide average for gas is up $1.50 since Biden took office, how we are paying $709 more a month than we did 2 years ago for the same goods and services.
Perfect. That's
I'm pretty sure that's what he was
very
talking
helpful.
about.
So in the future, if you call this radio show on our voicemail 317-684-8444, just identify what the topic is. That helps us so we can give whatever pretense to it and remind people about the segment that you were calling about, et cetera. All right, Casey, have you heard this audio from Judge Joe Brown?
I have heard it, and I really hope Kevin did a good job.
He went off. So Judge Joe Brown went off on Kamala Harris. It's the greatest thing in the history of ever.
It's coming up next with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show, 3 o'clock Monday. It's debate week, the latest on the race for the White House, and it's Monday Gun Day with Guy Relford, 93 WIBC.
Indy, stop spoiling your summers, painting year after year. Do what your neighbor Mark did. He called Rhino Shield.
It's a 2-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
Rhino Shield's ceramic coating is specifically formulated for our climate.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
Indy, this just in. Take advantage of Rhino Shield's summer savings. Get $1,000 off plus 0% interest for 18 months.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The U.S. home price index is on the rise and interest rates are stabilizing. The market is turning more seller-friendly. If you have been waiting, now may be the best time to sell your home. Find out with the agent I recommend, Mark Dietl. Maybe you want to maximize your equity from your home, but not sure how. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Kevin and Lori had to say about working with Mark Dietl. Our family was growing and our house was too small. We found a bigger home, but we needed to sell our current home for top dollar to afford the bigger place. The Mark Dietl team made it happen. Our home sold in 7 days, but they made sure we closed on both houses in the same day. Amazing. Call for all the details. Call the agent I trust and recommend and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-646-7049 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-646-7049. That's 800-646-7049. What do you have to lose? Call 800-646-7049. Again, 800-646-7049.
Have you ever dropped off your documents for shredding and wondered what happened to them? At Quick Shred, documents are shred right in front of you at their retail location on East 62nd Street. No appointment needed and convenient curbside assistance is provided. No matter how big or how small, they shred it all. You leave knowing your confidential information has been completely destroyed. Quick Shred is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 and Saturdays, 9 to 2. Quick Shred at 62nd and Binford Boulevard. Quick Shred.
The Dell Technologies Back to School event is on with deals on top tech for class, hobbies, and more. Now, when you buy, you support a cause. With every eligible purchase, Dell will donate to UNICEF in support of GIGA, a UNICEF ITU global initiative to connect schools across the globe to the internet. Accidental damage protection included. Get rare deals on select laptops and desktops powered by the latest Intel Core processors. Save now at Dell.com/deals. UNICEF does not endorse any company, brand, product, or service.
Emma and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
There's a lot of sexy content on the internet. And there's WIBC, full of faces meant for radio. Hammer and Nigel, Kendall and Casey. Okay, Casey could be on TV. Now streaming every day on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/WIBC.
Virtue signaling versus ability. Optics versus skill. 10:52, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. This may be the problem with Kamala Harris. So President Biden has a problem, and it's her. Partly. One of his many problems. And there is a columnist at the Los Angeles Times who gave an idea that maybe Kamala should go replace Dianne Feinstein.
Oh, yeah.
And for her Senate seat.
Yeah.
Feinstein. And then Joe Biden can pick a new running mate. That could solve a couple problems.
So this clip is a couple of years old, I believe, and for some reason now it is resurfacing, and I have no idea why or what, and I have no idea what or how this was not the biggest thing in the history of ever when it came out. So Judge Joe Brown, remember he had a TV show for years. He's a tough-talking judge. It's like, People's Court or whatever. He's on this podcast with a guy named Kwame Brown, who used to be a professional basketball player, was famously the number 1 pick in the NBA draft years ago. And he launches into this rant on Kamala Harris, and it is just, Kev, I hope you checked this a couple times because, wow, I have no idea how this escaped the attention of the populace, but we're sure going to throw it out here because yikes.
And you got Queen La Imhoff in there. You know who Imhoff is?
No.
Yes, you do.
Who?
Mrs. Imhoff, Vice President of the United States, who goes by her maiden name,
Miss Kamala?
Kamala Harris. She's got 2 Jewish children she adopted. She married a Jewish husband who's got a interesting...
I'm scared to talk about Kamala Harris. I'll let you have that one.
No, she's a witch, and she is a corrupt witch. She's been corrupt her whole life, and she her way to the top.
Oh, Lord.
They used to detail this witch in the L.A. Times with her sexual escapades. She's damn near everybody trying to get up. She used to be a frat when she was at Howard. And she ain't black. You know,
I ain't got nothing to do with this, Miss Harris.
Nah, I mean, well, don't, but she's
I don't know. I'm just listening.
Well, here's the thing. I actually met her father in Jamaica. I was the guest, sat at the Governor General's table, and he was a professor.
Kev, you did excellent. I was so nervous for you.
I was a little nervous about that one.
Very good. There were a couple times.
How did that not break the internet when that came out? When I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, Joe Brown has gone on a rant. And then you realize this is like from a couple of years ago. And somehow it just totally went into the ether. And now, for some reason,
it's resurfacing.
It's resurfacing and it's being posted everywhere.
Yeah. Clearly, he has an opinion on Kamala Harris. So do a lot of other people, though. Only 32% of registered voters have a positive view of her. She has the lowest rating of any vice president in the poll's history of existence.
All right, Casey, when we come back, Kyle Hupfer, as we told you on this show over a month ago, is leaving as the head of the Indiana Republican Party.
Bye-bye.
And as predictable as my name is Rob Kendall, Holcomb immediately moves to institute another establishment stooge as the head of the party.
We'll get into it coming up from 93 WIBC.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation, like business owner Brian.
Yeah, Galaxy was great. We have a business where a lot of the service techs are working out in the field, and they'll come in and they'll have even some mud or something on our shoes. So if we're having a meeting, I needed a flooring that could stand up to that, but still look good as an office setting.
Well, if you own a home or a business, Galaxy Concrete Coatings got you covered.
Galaxy was great to work around our schedule. They were able to come in on a Saturday, and the job was completed over the weekend, and we were back in business, so we didn't miss a step.
Lots of styles to choose from, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and a 15-year warranty.
It's very nice looking. It's very durable. Really makes the room stand out and shine.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com now. That's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. And remember to like us on Facebook. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. We're out of this world.
Galaxy was quick to respond. They were quick to give us a solution and quick to get it completed as well. And they're going to take care of you.
Does your knee pain keep getting worse? How about that pain in your shoulder or hip or back? Don't let anyone tell you that steroids and surgery are your only option. Listen to me. Call QC Kinetics right now. Tony Katz here, and QC Kinetics can make that pain go away with all natural advanced regenerative medicine. They're helping people every day right here in Indy and around the country with these amazing natural treatments that restore and repair damaged joint tissue. It can be like turning back the clock. Regenerative medicine uses concentrated healing agents from your own body to stimulate that damaged tissue in your joints so they can work like they're supposed to. Got pain due to arthritis or injury? Call QC Kinetics today. The consultation is free. QC Kinetics is in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and now in Carmel. Call 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and now in Carmel. 317-559-PAIN.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0696. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0696. That's 800-583-0696. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Coming up in 2 minutes, a heat wave has settled into central Indiana. Plus, we get an update from the leader of Indiana Task Force 1 as they help in the rescue efforts out in Hawaii. And the sentence for a trio of people found guilty of murder. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Hillary's not done. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The storm, now a post-tropical cyclone, is forecast to drop more heavy rain across parts of Southern California and Nevada, then Idaho and Oregon today. There's been flash flooding in California and more expected. There have been water rescues, including at least 13 people reported to have been taken out of a waist-deep water in a homeless encampment along the San Diego River. President Biden in Nevada on a family vacation leaves this hour to head to Hawaii to see wildfire damage on Maui. Fox's Jared Halpern.
He and the First Lady will meet with survivors and families dealing with the loss of loved ones. President Biden also gets a chance to be briefed on the search and recovery efforts and pay respects, a White House official says, to the lives lost.
114 deaths confirmed so far there. Former President Trump on social media announces he will not be doing the Republican presidential debates. 8 candidates, as of this morning, have qualified for the first debate with good enough polling and fundraising and by signing a pledge to support whoever's the nominee. It's hosted by Fox in Milwaukee.
The debate stage is inside Pfizer Forum. That's the home of the Milwaukee Bucks. This is going to be the first big opportunity and the largest audience those candidates have to get up on the stage and tell Americans why they think they're the best option.
Fox's Alexa McAdams running a podium so far. Doug Burgum, Chris Christie, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Asa Hutchinson, Mike Pence, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Tim Scott. A former neonatal nurse is sentenced to life in prison in England for the murder of 7 babies and the attempted murder of 6 others.
Prosecutors say nurse Lucy Letby preyed on new parents and developed
developed relationships with them to cover her tracks. All the while, she weaponized her medical training to torture and kill their newborns. Between 2015 and 2016, she injected babies in the NICU with insulin, milk, or oxygen, and even shoved a tube down one infant's throat.
Fox's Alex Hogan. Leppy did not attend the sentencing to hear statements from victims' families. That's allowed in Great Britain. There's no death penalty there. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's hot, and it'll stay hot. It's already 87 and partly cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02.
Just kind of lock in a very warm and hot air mass across the area through much of the week.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service. He says it will reach the low 90s today if it hasn't already, and by Thursday it'll be the upper 90s. It'll start cooling back down, though, along the weekend time. Hoosiers are helping find more victims today in Maui as Indiana Task Force 1 has started its work.
Yesterday and today, we're working on creating safe access to the building so that we can conduct searches through the building.
Task Force 1 leader Jay Settergren talking about one operation they're doing there. More than 1,000 people are still missing. At least 114 people are confirmed dead from the wildfires. The boy's name was Jordan Robertson. He's the boy who was killed in a shooting on the east side Sunday afternoon along Market Street near New York and Sherman.
We hope that those who have firearms in the home, you have to be responsible whenever you have those, so that way that nobody gets hurt. And this is a prime example of that.
Officer William Young indicating the shooting may have been an accident. Prosecutors in 2 counties are wrapping up their cases against 3 people found guilty of murder. Ryan Hedrick reports.
The trio committed murders and armed robbery and led police on a high-speed chase back in 2019 before they were finally stopped by the cops. Fisher's police dog Harley was killed when he tried to run into a house to chase Richard Garrett Jr. and Rashana Farrow down. Garrett was sentenced to 6 years in Hamilton County. Farrow was sentenced to 45 years on Friday. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The mission from here on out until week 1 for the Indianapolis Colts.
But as a whole, the guys that have been here, that are playing right now, like where they're at, and obviously we got to get the guys that are hurt healthy.
Head coach Shane Steichen. The Colts close the preseason out against Philly this coming weekend. I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749. 800-239-1749 or biglou.com.
The Hoosier Hardwood Festival, August 25th through 27th at the Boone County Fairgrounds in Lebanon. Lumberjacks, chainsaw carving artists, family fun, and more. HoosierHardwoodFestival.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, August 21st. It's 5 minutes after 11 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. That's Rob Kendall. You can find him on Twitter at Rob M. Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. You can find me there at Casey Daniels 317. And right now, we're both on YouTube if you type in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar. So the Indiana Republican Party chair, Kyle Hupford, has announced that he is stepping down from his role of leading the state party, but he won't, however, be sitting out on the sidelines. He's still going to stay involved in politics.
Okay, so Casey, we must begin this third hour of radio greatness by doing my least favorite thing, and you know I loathed to do it, and I dreaded coming into work this morning because I knew, Casey, was going to have to sit in the seat, these very powerful airwaves that you can hear from Ohio to Illinois and all points in between, and tell everybody And it's hard to get the words out, Casey. Right now as I sit here.
I know. Focus.
About how right I was. Because, well, you may remember a month ago, I came on these very airwaves and said Kyle Hupfer is going to resign as the head of the state party. Mm-hmm. And he's not doing this because he believes his time is up or it's time for some new blood or, any sense of, obligation to country or anything. He's doing it because Brad Chambers, who is the hand-selected guy by Holcomb and Hupfer Incorporated, is the guy that they have decided will be the person who will continue the great grift that props up the donor and lobbyist crowd that run the Indiana Republican Party. For whatever reason, I don't know why, Holcomb and Hupfer cannot stand Suzanne Crouch, as was made abundantly clear based on the fact of things like, they took her off the signs in 2020, or he's refused to endorse her. And so they decided to throw the mighty weight of Holcomb Hupfer Incorporated behind Brad Chambers, who is the economic development director under Holcomb. And look, Holcomb and Hupfer and the people in that orbit are in a bit of a panic right now because, number one, you've got a guy in Micah Beckwith who has totally upset the apple cart on the lieutenant governor side of things. Mm-hmm. And the lieutenant governor oversees a lot of departments that a lot of lobbyists and donors have big interest in ensuring the status quo continues to operate. And if you get an independent thinker in there, that's going to be very, 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 very bad. Plus, who knows what Micah would find once he gets in there and starts unsealing boxes.
Oh, that's a good point.
So you have a big issue with that because he's running an independent campaign. And now have a world on the governor's side where clearly if you don't believe Suzanne Crouch is likable enough to you or trustworthy enough to you or whatever the reason was, and it's about money to these people, don't kid yourselves. So it must have been something with they don't think she's a stoogey or reliably stoogey enough to keep whatever sick status quo these people have instituted going. I don't totally understand it. But on the governor's side, there is now a real world where Curtis Hill could become the governor of the state of Indiana. And you want to talk about storming the Bastille and a revenge tour. That would be the worst thing that could happen. Even Mike Braun is not ideal for them because while his voting record in the Indiana State House is abhorrent, he's not a part of the club. He has different people who run his campaigns. He is a bit of detached from that standpoint. And so it is they must control the narrative. And they could not do that with Kyle Hupfer as state party chair because he can't be running either de facto or in actuality helping run Brad Chambers' campaign while he's state party chair. So what they have done, as we told, look, you can either believe this is just the biggest coincidence in the world and Rob just pulled this out of his ass and got lucky, or you can believe, wow, that's really amazing. Rob got that exactly right, that he said within a month Hupfer's going to be out of here, and he is now out of here. I tell you this because people tell me what's happening. People who are friends with these people who in meetings sit around tables from these people and can't stand these people. They tell me what's going on. That's how I knew what was going to happen, and I was proven exactly correct.
It doesn't sound like they're really friends with these people, just acquaintances.
But these are people, and we've laid this out before. There's many, many people who are very, very, or at least who Holcomb and Hupfer believe are very close to them, who absolutely cannot stand these people. They hate what they've done to the state. They hate what they've done to the government. They hate what they've done to the Republican Party. And they are not in a position where they can give the information out. They would lose their job. They don't have the platform we have. So they're more than happy to give it to me so I can tell you what's going on. So I'm telling you the next step in the equation, as we told you, was that Kyle Hupfer will now begin the process of attempting to tip the scales in favor of Brad Chambers to be the next governor of the state of Indiana.
So what you have here now is that the establishment could potentially split the vote between Silent Suzanne and Brad Chambers.
It's a huge concern where there is a world where somebody with 6 people running for governor, where 20% wins the governor's race. And that's the world where Curtis Hill, because look, you can say whatever you want about Curtis, and I got a lot of issues with the way Curtis would govern, but I don't really care for any of these people too much. So if I'm going to pick somebody, I might as well pick the guy that'll make Holcomb the most miserable, and that would by far be Curtis. Curtis, you say whatever you want about Curtis. His events that he goes to, he's either got great staging and incredible camera work, or there's a crap ton of people that show up to events Curtis Hill goes to, which means outside of our little bubble here, the allegations never proven against him really don't mean that much to people. They really don't matter that much to people.
Okay, so Holcomb said in a statement on Friday that Kyle Hufford's tenure as chairman of the Indiana Republican Party has proudly been one for the record books.
Oh, it's been one for the record books, Casey.
And
Would you like to talk about the records we've set? Why don't we just pause and talk about some of the records we've set here in the state of Indiana under Kyle Hupfer? Record taxes. Largest tax increase in state history belongs to the Indiana Republican Party with Kyle Hupfer as GOP party chair. Record government. The government has never been bigger in the state of Indiana other than under Kyle Hupfer as the head of the Indiana Republican Party. Expenditures of government. By far, we have never spent more money in this state than we have as Kyle Hupfer, head of the Indiana Republican Party. Most meetings with the domestic terrorist. Never had more meetings with the domestic terrorists than when Kyle Hupfer was the head of the Indiana Republican Party. Most amount of people put out of work. We never had more people put out of work than when Holcomb shut the state down with Kyle Hupfer as the head of the Republican Party. Most attempts to try to put you in jail for not wearing a mask. We've never had that happen more than when Kyle Hupfer was the head of the Republican Party. You're right, Casey. There's a laundry list of firsts and mosts with Kyle Hupfer as the head of the Indiana Republican Party.
Okay, so Holcomb said it was next level leadership. He's been in the position since 2017. And if you're someone who is within the Republican Party, clearly it has a nice tight grip on the state of Indiana. And by those accounts, Kyle Hufford has done a good job.
Yes, the Republican Party, which was always the goal. Look, Eric Holcomb was handpicked to be the governor of the state of Indiana. Eric Holcomb was dead last in a U.S. Senate primary. He was pathetically last. I mean, totally out of money. Eric Holcomb I was working for Marlon Stutzman at the time. Mm-hmm. And Eric Holcomb was the big doofus when he would show up to events. People would point at him and laugh like, dude, why are you even still here? Why are you even running? You can't raise money. You have no traction. You have no vision. You have no ideas. You're just the yes man toady stooge who, when he had to stand on his own without big brother like Mitch Daniels or Danny Coates, plowing a path for you, you have nothing to offer. And magically, somehow, the guy who was dead last in the U.S. Senate primary, out of money, shooting baskets in all 92 counties, well, he just ends up being governor in the same year he's last in a U.S. Senate primary. That doesn't happen accidentally. Eric Holcomb was handpicked to be lieutenant governor, and he was handpicked to be governor after that because Eric Holcomb was the best friend the donor and lobbyist crowd could have ever hoped for. They would have been totally happy with him being lieutenant governor. But I don't think there's a world they could have imagined where, oh my gosh, we got this guy to be the governor, and he has done everything they've wanted the past 6 or 7 years, which is bigger government, more costs, more special interest benefiting, and more money coming from you, the poor and middle class people, to pay for the special interest benefits.
Okay, so they want that gravy train to keep on rolling. So they're having Kyle Hufford possibly run Brad Chambers' campaign. And that leaves an opening. Typically, governors, as the top leader of the party in the state, they play a role in picking who's going to be in charge of the party, the next chair. So who do we have on deck?
Well,
to replace Kyle Hufford?
Holcomb has nominated Anne Hathaway to be the state party chair. He couldn't sprint to a Twitter device, or Brian Howie broke the story, so I don't know whether he let Brian Howie know this via cellular telephone or text message or encrypted code or whatever, but it has not been denied. Anne Hathaway is the most reliable, ultimate insider party stooge you could possibly ask for. We've actually got some great Anne Hathaway stories here, and I know many people have been wanting some of these Pence stories, and now I'm thinking maybe Wednesday, Casey, because that's debate night, right? Yep. Wednesday is debate night. Maybe we'll tell one of the bigger Mike Pence stories, probably the biggest one, and maybe we'll talk about what a pathological liar Mike Pence is, and maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll do it Wednesday. Maybe we won't. But Anne Hathaway is actually very, in a weird way, connected to that story. I know Anne Hathaway. I've sat in meetings with Anne Hathaway, and I can tell you with a great deal of certainty there will be no greater friend to the establishment wing of the Republican Party and the donor and lobbyist crowd and the status quo, which is to take as much money from you as possible as they can get away with and make sure that the connected benefit from that than Anne Hathaway. That will be just the best choice for business as usual.
Okay, so she would be the first female chair for the Republican Party in the state of Indiana. But you mentioned debates, Wednesday being debate night. And Donald Trump has come out and said, I will therefore not be doing the debates. And we're going to talk more about that and where he sits in polling coming up from 93 WIBC.
Stopped on 465
From the
again.
north side
We haven't moved on 37
to the south side.
Avoid south side 465
To the west side.
Yeah, stopped on westbound 465
To
again.
the east
People
side.
exchanging Gridlock all the way through the east side.
Traffic's a bear.
Drove into a ditch through the tree line.
And
just
Matt
shy.
Bear?
Traffic stop on the right.
He's
shoulder
a
line.
beast.
Traffic jam of epic proportion.
Helping you navigate the...
Oh, come on.
And the...
Let's go.
And the... With Matt Bear Traffic. Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
There is still time to get a patio this fall with Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. No subcontractors ever. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Do what you want to do. He got enough donors. Now he's going to be on the debate stage. 19 minutes after 11, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. We're talking about former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson. He announced Sunday that he's qualified for the debate scheduled for Wednesday in Milwaukee. He said that he has submitted the 42,000 individual donors. He gave away movie tickets. Everybody's got their way of getting there, and he used movie tickets.
You know, last segment we talked about what a complete joke the state Republican Party is, but the national party is just totally saying, hold my beer, and in a minute we're going to get to Trump saying he's not going to be involved. So, I mean, I guess maybe we'll just dive into it all as one big thing. Trump has come out and said, and we'll read his we'll do a dramatic reading of his announcement here in just a moment. He said he's not participating. So what you've done now is you've created an environment. If you are Ronna McDaniel, the just repeatedly failed member of the Indiana or the head of the National Republican Party, you have an environment where the one guy people would want to see, you can't get on the stage, and now you've got nine people that outside of DeSantis and maybe Ramaswamy, and that's about it. The rest of them are. I mean, there's just no. Why would anybody watch this?
Yeah.
And now Trump has come out and said he's going to do a thing with Tucker Carlson, which is, are we good or are we good?
We called that.
For weeks we have been saying he is not going to do this, and he's either going to go on Rogan or Tucker Carlson. And I guess he probably chose Tucker because Tucker is, you can do it live or de facto live. You know, Rogan's a podcast and comes out at the same time each week, blah, blah, blah. But we nailed that because nobody's going to watch this without Trump. Nobody cares what any of these people have to say. I put the over-under at 7.
People?
7 people. And you've got, I mean, just what a space waster. Asa Hutchinson, space waster. Chris Christie, space waster. Mike Pence, space waster. Nobody, who's a Burgum, the guy who bought his way on stage. The mayor of Miami made it.
Yeah, he did?
I thought so. I thought
that was still Suarez.
I thought they said he got on the debate stage.
I thought last Ronna McDaniel said that she was still waiting to see if he was going to make it. And I guess Ryan Binkley, the guy from Texas that we had on last week, who said he was very close to the donor threshold, he didn't make it.
Well, no, right here. According to the Associated Press, 2 days ago, Miami Mayor Francis Suarez claims he's qualified for president. Yeah. So, but I love this headline, but RNC can't confirm. Either way, it doesn't matter. Whether this guy's up there, whether Ryan Binkley, and he was a very nice guy, is up there, whether Hutchinson, Christie, nobody cares about this. They have the Republicans just find ways to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Or defeat from the jaws of victory.
So
it is just amazing how they managed to ruin everything.
Okay, so I will be watching because I'm like that, and I'm interested to hear from Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy. The rest, they can sit down. They're just going to take up time that could be given to DeSantis or Ramaswamy.
Okay, Casey. So, let's remove the fact that you work at this radio station from the equation.
Yeah.
Let's pretend you didn't work here.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me you would rather watch those 9 idiots on stage rather than Trump and Tucker? You think DeSantis and Pence and Tim Scott and Nikki Haley are going to be more entertaining than Trump and Tucker Carlson?
No,
that's my point.
They're not going to be more entertaining. You think people are going to choose Tucker and Trump over the actual debate? See, I think people are curious, want to hear what these other people have to say.
Who cares what these people have to say?
The non-62% who are saying okay, Trump's corner.
You're right. No, you're right. And I'm just having fun with you. But you're right from the standpoint of the nerds will watch. And I lump myself in this. I'm not watching this because most of these people are super boring. But the political nerd people are going to watch this. But the debates, the primary debate, especially with King Kong in your corner, Trump, should be about bringing new eyes onto your party. You should. In 2015, I'm convinced one of the reasons Trump won was those primary debates were so, in 2015 and 16, all of them were so well tuned into that people started to see more and more in Trump, and they were like, you know what, this guy's a little wacky and he's a little wild, but I like the America First stuff. I like the wall. All right, I'll vote for him. That you're not going to have any of that. And all you're going to have is everybody's going to be beating up on DeSantis now because he's the front runner of the also-rans.
Yeah.
And just there's no compelling reason now to tune in.
And isn't it interesting how they're all working so hard to get on this debate stage?
Yes.
Like giving away trips and movie tickets and gift cards.
And this is why it's such a joke that Ronna and the Republicans have created an environment in which you can literally buy your way onto the debate stage. The Doug Burgum stuff is a joke. The Asa Hutchinson thing is a joke. And the idea that you should be on the debate stage if you're at 2%, that's also a joke. I mean, the threshold to qualify for these things, it should be 10%. If you have been campaigning for president for 3 or 4 months and you can't eclipse 10% in the polls, nobody cares about you. I'm sorry. You don't have a right to be on this stage. And the more people you put on the stage, the less chance everybody gets to talk.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just all these other people, Pence, Scott, Haley, Christie, Burgum, Asa Hutchinson now, who worked so hard to get there, they're just going to be taking time away from hearing from DeSantis and Ramaswamy, who I do actually want to hear from.
I would totally agree. And look, I would totally agree with you, too, if it were, okay, our threshold is, let's say they made it 5%. Then that gives you DeSantis, Ramaswamy, Tim Scott, Pence.
I don't know. Tim Scott's falling now. There's a new poll that came out. This is absolutely crushing.
Yeah, wait.
Trump.
But wait a second, Casey. We get to that in a second. There are polls that show Tim Scott over 5%. He would qualify. What I'm saying here is that would give you 4 or 5 people on the stage who people have actually heard of and want to care about and would actually get to talk. Then that's mildly interesting. But the idea that you've got Hutchinson and Christie and Burgum and ridiculous. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, but isn't Nikki Haley, wasn't she the very first one to announce?
Yes, that's correct.
And she's still at 2%. It's just a new poll that I wanted to share with everybody because Trump is absolutely surging and crushing DeSantis by 46 points. Trump is now at 62%. And DeSantis, who was in the high 20s, low 30s at one point, is now down to 16%.
There's a famous scene in the movie The Wedding Singer where Steve Buscemi plays, it's at the very beginning of the movie, Steve Buscemi plays this totally inebriated brother at a wedding Adam Sandler is singing at, and he gets up on the stage and he's supposed to give, he being Steve Buscemi, is supposed to give the speech, the best man toast or whatever, and he starts talking about all the dirty deeds the brother has done and how they were with hookers and all sorts of other stuff. And of course, the dad's getting mad at him, and Adam Sandler comes up on stage and to cut him off and goes, "Hey everybody, the best man!" And Steve Buscemi loudly shouts, "The best man, the better man," and that is Donald Trump with Ron DeSantis, right? Donald Trump is Steve Buscemi and the Wedding Singer, who has just eviscerated the clean-cut, good-looking guy who everybody thought was going to be the answer. I mean, that's a 46-point lead.
Okay, so Trump has said that he's not going to be in the debates. I will therefore not be doing the debates. And he's citing the latest CBS poll with his legendary numbers.
We were joking last week about how ridiculous he is when he's like, "I've got 80% of the vote." He's not far off now.
No, he's getting closer and closer. It's. Do you want to do a dramatic reading?
So, I felt this is big enough. Trump announcing he's not going to be here at the debate to do a dramatic reading of his announcement that he's not going. Now, I want to clarify to everyone. I'm going to read this as it is written, and we all know on the internet, if you type things in all caps, that is shouting. So at the very end, I'm going to read this as it is written. Okay? Are you right?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. New CBS poll. Just out. Has me leading the field by legendary numbers. Trump, 62%. 46 points above the sanctimonious, who is crashing like an ailing bird. Ramaswamy, 7%. Pence, 5%. Scott, 3. Haley, 2. Sloppy Chris Christie, 2. Ada, he misspelled his name. Hutchinson, 1%. The public knows who I am and what a successful presidency I had, with energy independence, strong borders and military, biggest ever tax and regulation cuts, no inflation. Boy, he's so full of it. Strongest economy in history, and much more. I will therefore not be doing the debates! Exclamation point!
Oh boy, he just tweeted out a few hours ago in all capital letters, "We have a Department of Injustice rigging the election for crooked Joe Biden. Unless it is quickly stopped, all future elections will follow the same path." It just never stops with this
no
guy.
Inflation, Casey. Did you know there was actually no inflation between 2017 and 2020? That's amazing.
Ronna McDaniel is very proud of the lineup in the debates, by the way. She has been touting the diversity of it.
Okay,
she says there's a woman, there's a black man, and so it's very diverse. We're going to hear from a full spectrum.
Okay, serious question.
Yeah.
If you said Asa Hutchinson is going to be at, I don't even know, just pick somewhere.
Local car dealership?
Asa Hutchinson is going to be at, let's even do this. Asa Hutchinson is going to be at your favorite local McDonald's, and if you go, but you have to listen to him speak for 30 minutes, you can get a free combo meal of your choosing. Could he get 20 people?
Not worth it to me.
No way. There's no way he could get 20 people.
Not worth it. Not worth it. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep Central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How many now? I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. The number of people missing in Lahaina is now believed to be about 850 people. That's according to a new FBI-vetted list. Most of the now destroyed town has been searched by experts like Indiana Task Force 1.
We cover every bit of affected area by searching for any area in that affected zone thoroughly and document that with our technology that shows exactly where we've been.
Task Force 1 leader Jay Settergren. Thousands citizens are waking up without power in Southern California after Tropical Storm Hillary moved through. It's since been downgraded to a post-tropical cyclone. No deaths have been reported in the Southwest, but there has been a lot of flooding. There were also some aftershocks from an earthquake that hit right before the tropical storm. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Stop right now and ask yourself, what is most important to you? Hey, this is Casey Weed at Howard Bailey Financial, the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. We believe in developing retirement plans driven by what is most important to you, your purpose. Then we can build what we call your financial life plan, made up of 4 main pillars: liquidity for emergencies, income to last a lifetime, flexibility to adapt, estate planning to maximize your legacy, and finally, tax planning to maximize what you can spend and pass on. To learn more about saving on your taxes, get your free digital tax guide. Just call or text TAX42 to 866-482-9559. That's TAX42 to 866-482-9559.
Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Are you working way too hard for way too little? There's never been a better time to consider a career in IT. You could enjoy a recession-resistant career in a rewarding field with plenty of growth opportunities and often flexible work environments. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new career in months, not years. Take classes online or on campus, and financial aid is available to qualified students, including the GI Bill. Now is the time. mycomputercareer.edu.
That kitchen or bath remodel you've been ready to start? With inflation rising, waiting is just going to make it more expensive. Start that remodel today. Hey, it's Tony Katz for Booher Remodeling. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. Get on the schedule now to avoid some of those price increases. Booher Remodeling is the finest remodeler in Central Indiana with the best materials and most skilled craftsmen. They'll guide you through the entire process to make your vision come to life. Go to BooherRemodeling.com to set up your free consultation. BooherRemodeling.com.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
90% of patients with dementia experience aggression and anxiety caused by damage to brain tissue. Agitation, which can result in screaming, hitting, restlessness, and wandering, affects over half of Alzheimer's disease patients. Hi, I'm Representative Lauren Matsumoto from Hawaii and Women in Government Board Chair. It's important to know that Alzheimer's affects more than just memory. Discussing these changes with a care team can help identify potential treatment options. For more, visit womeningovernment.org.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Standing on the corner. I read this headline and then shared it with Rob, and his response was, ugh.
Yeah.
So here's the headline. This
Yes.
is from Fox News. Biden administration to renew push for Americans to get COVID-19 boosters. We have an election coming up.
Well, there are a lot of people who believe, and look, God bless everyone who sends me a message, and I love reading them. But you got to kind of parse through them. And I've started to receive some people saying, my friend Fred said that at his work they've promised masks and shots are coming back or whatever. It's going to be very interesting to see, because I have no doubt there will be some sort of push/pressure for shots and masking and whatever, depending on how the tide of the country is going in the moment.
Yeah.
Now, look, if the Democrats have irrefutable data that people hate Trump so much that Biden's going to cruise to victory, then probably not, because you wouldn't want to risk it. However, if they've got some sort of something that tells them, wow, we're in trouble and we need to make sure the mass mail-in unaccountable balloting is amped up and put into overdrive again, then absolutely. And why wouldn't they, Casey? Because we as Americans, heck, we as Hoosiers.
It worked last time.
Just let them do it.
Keep going from the same playbook, right?
Just let them do it.
Yeah.
And I will say this as somebody who was willing to lose my job the last time. The same rules are going to apply this time. Those shots didn't work. There's lots of evidence that they harmed a lot of people. Certainly, there's no evidence that they provide any sort of long-term benefit. There may be some that shows in a very short term that they do help some people, but there's huge evidence that they've caused issues with certain people. And I think it's like every other medical thing or issue or pill or shot or whatever. Different people handle things differently. But nope, not doing it.
Not going to do it. Okay, well, let's review more from Biden's wild and wacky presser that he had with the Prime Minister of Japan.
Oh, my gosh.
This time, he says that America First policies make us weaker, not stronger.
His America First policy, walking away from the rest of the world, has made us weaker, not stronger.
And this is really important because it is a theme that we talk about on this show quite a bit, which is the idea of American exceptionalism. And everybody's got a little bit different interpretation of what that means, but mine is that America is the greatest idea ever conceived by man. America is blessed by God. There is no way it is. America is literally the big bang of government and countries in the history of this world. The only one that stands apart from it is Israel, and obviously that is something not related to man, but also related to God in the sense of, I think God put all these brilliant people in America together at the same time for a common cause. There's no way all of those brilliant people, some of the most brilliant people who have ever walked the face of this earth, could have all been together at the same time with a common cause on some sort of accident. It was clearly divine intervention. And America, despite having flaws, and I think those flaws have been well documented, the great thing and amazing thing about the system of governance they set up is that those flaws could be rectified over time. It was the first time in human history that people were put in charge of the government rather than the government was put in charge of people. And the left hates that, because the left believes in loyalty to the government, being beholden to the government above all else. The government is the great arbiter. The government is the great knower. The government is the great doer. And you are but an impediment to that, versus conservatives or liberty-minded people who believe the exact opposite. And so loving American exceptionalism and our special place in the world and the special things we have done in the world and the special things that have been done because of the great individualism that for a large portion of our existence this country promoted and rewarded, the left hates that. Because if you can do it on your own,
if you don't need them.
You don't need them.
Right.
And so it is, and so if you amplify that out onto a world stage, America doesn't need the rest of the world. The rest of the world needs America. And it doesn't make you a bad person to say that. Look at almost every major military conflict, certainly post-World War II. We've done it alone, or basically alone. There might be some peripheral help around the edges, but everything we've ever done, all these ill-begotten wars we've gotten into, we've done it on our own. Mm-hmm. Who's the sweet daddy that always comes in to save someone? Look at Ukraine. Mm-hmm. It's always us. Mm-hmm. We're always doing 90% of the lifting for everybody else. And it's okay to say, and he's talking about Trump here, obviously, that we are better than everybody else. America is the greatest idea ever conceived by man, second only to Israel, because obviously that was created and conceived by God, and clearly God has handprints all over the foundation of America, and those two things have those two places have that in common, and that is why they have been greater than any other plots of land or any other countries that have ever existed in the history of this world. The left hates that because the left hates individualism, they hate liberty, they hate freedom of thought, they hate freedom of movement, and most of all, many leftists hate religion and you having a belief in something higher than the government itself.
Another thing that the left hates, and especially Joe Biden, is questions about his son, Hunter. Inside the White House, it's being reported that a lot of aides just completely avoid discussing it with the president, believing that if they even bring it up to him, any of their other ideas aren't going to be welcome. They're just totally going to be shunned because, you were the one who questioned what's going on with Hunter. So Joe Biden, of course, in the same press conference, was asked about the investigation into Hunter. And guess what? No comment.
And with regard to The second question, I have no comment on any investigation that's going on. That's up to the Justice Department, and that's all I have to say.
That's it. Some people were questioning whether he's trying to influence the investigation. He's just not playing along.
The newsflash, people. The Justice Department is
He's the boss.
It's the Biden Justice
He's
Department.
the boss.
It would be like if you owned, I'm just making up a name here or in a company here, but it's like if you owned, Casey Daniels Candy Company.
That sounds fun.
What's the first name what are the first two words in Casey Daniels Candy Company?
Yeah, Casey Daniels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you're in charge of it.
Right.
And it would be like if something happened at Casey Daniels Candy Company and you're like, well, I'm going to let the management at the Casey Daniels Candy Company handle that because, well, that management needs your independence. Mm-hmm. That is so stupid because it is your company. You are the owner.
It's the Biden administration Department of Justice.
Yes.
And then if there's a new president, it will be the Trump Department of Justice.
There is no such thing as independence from that. You appoint the people, even the attorney. I mean, let's go all the way up the food chain. You appoint the attorney general. You are in charge. It is yours. You are not independent of that, nor has any president in the history of ever been independent of the Justice Department because they appoint it.
Okay, how many times are you listening to that Oliver Anthony song? Richmond, north of Richmond.
My wife loves that because
is it like on repeat?
Yeah, where he talks about the fudge rounds. She thinks that's hilarious.
Yeah,
5'3" and 300 pounds. Taxes ought not to pay for your
fudge rounds.
Yeah, she loves that.
Apparently, there's a run on fudge rounds now.
Yeah, I saw that.
The way.
Yes,
a lot of people are gobbling those up. But he spoke, and here's what he had to say.
What do you hope comes of the song in your music? I know you turned $8 million down. You did a great statement. You said you don't want jets. You don't want tour buses. What do you want?
I just want to go back to the woods, honestly. No, what I really want in the bigger scheme of things is just people to start appreciating each other for human beings and look beyond political differences and ideologies and a lot of things that I see corporate media and education doing, which is making everyone identify each other's differences and not their similarities.
And that's what the government does. That's what the left does, because the left needs everybody to be in a box, in their corner of a box. They need you to believe that you have been grieved in some way, and without the government intervening, being the arbiter, that you can never be made whole or be successful or whatever. And that is why everybody has a thing. Everybody has something that makes them different from everybody else, and we've got to point it out and rub your face in it and make sure you can't get away from it, because we've all got to know how different we are, because you're some way getting screwed, and if you don't think you're getting screwed, then you don't need the government to help you from being screwed.
Well, here's a guy who's been offered multi-million dollars and has turned it down. He's saying, no, I'm not doing that.
Let me be very clear, Casey.
Yeah.
If I am offered millions of dollars, I'm straight up taking it.
You're out of here?
I'm out of. Well, no, I'd still be here because I know how miserable I make a lot of people who really don't like me. But I'm taking the millions of dollars.
For sure. Okay, it is 11:44. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Who do you trust more, your spouse or Donald Trump? We'll tell you what most people said coming up.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, should anybody watch this presidential debate and China's economy and how it affects you? That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-646-7049 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-646-7049. That's 800-646-7049. What do you have to lose? Call 800-646-7049. Again, 800-646-7049.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop.
Sarah, you don't look so good. Are you okay?
To be honest, I did it again last night. I promised myself it would be just one glass of wine, and I drank the whole bottle.
You need to get the drinking under control, Sarah. Trust me, I know. Wine o'clock used to be my favorite time of day, but I found that one glass always turned into more and realized I needed help. I did some research and found naltrexone.
Naltrexone?
It's an FDA-approved medication that reduces cravings and pleasure from drinking, making it easier to drink less or quit alcohol altogether. I started seeing results almost immediately.
How'd you get started with naltrexone?
It's easy with Or Health. Just send them a text and get a secure link to their private online assessment. One of their licensed medical professionals will evaluate your assessment and, if medication is right for you, prescribe it directly online. They even deliver your prescription right to your front door. No doctor's office visits required.
Thanks, Anne. I'm texting now.
You really can stop drinking or just drink less. Text PROMISE to 323232 to get started today. Text the word PROMISE to 323232. Text PROMISE to 323232.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0696. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0696. That's 800-583-0696. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Dell Technologies Back to School event is on with deals on top tech for class, hobbies, and more. Now, when you buy, you support a cause. With every eligible purchase, Dell will donate to UNICEF in support of GIGA, a UNICEF ITU global initiative to connect schools across the globe to the internet. Accidental damage protection included. Get rare deals on select laptops and desktops powered by the latest Intel Core processors. Save now at Dell.com/deals. UNICEF does not endorse any company, brand, product, or service.
Hey, we're pretty social people at WIBC. You can find us all over social media. See what we're up to on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We're never more than just away. Just search for 93 WIBC.
The sun's coming up. I'm riding with ladies.
It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. I don't know if you saw this article, Rob. It's from Mediaite. And they say that MAGA fans are more likely to trust information coming from Donald Trump than their own friends and family. This was CBS that did this poll. So what do we think? Information is everywhere these days. Would you trust your wife or would you trust Donald Trump more?
Well, because my wife listens to this show, of course, Casey, I would trust my wife more than Donald Trump. Wink, wink, nod, nod. I think what this is fascinating, though, is, and I was thinking about this driving in the confines of media itself. And it used to be that you could get information from a select group of sources. And the media really mattered in the sense of whatever they put on that hour-long CBS, NBC, ABC, nightly news broadcast was a news shaper. It's why Walter Cronkite was obviously the most powerful person in America. Remember, like he undid Richard Nixon. When you lost, or not Richard Nixon, Lyndon Johnson. When you've lost Cronkite, you've lost America. And then, talk radio came along and diluted some of that power, but there was still a confined amount of places you could get information. Now it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And that's good because it enables you to check and balance what you get from the mainstream national media. but it also puts a lot of bad information out there that you've got to sort through. And I don't think a lot of people do a lot of sorting to get through the bad information.
Well, we say it all the time. It used to be that media would give you the facts and you would form your own opinion. And now the media gives you an opinion and you have to discern what are facts. But this new poll says that 71% believe what Trump tells them is true, while only 63% are going to consider information from their own family to be true.
Well, okay, let's I don't know. You got some reasonable people in your family, so I'm trying to think who that might, Uncle, Cleo or whatever. I mean, let's face it. There's a lot of things people see on the internet, and they just repeat them back as fact. And that being said, Trump says a lot of things, too, that you would go, man, I don't think you're quite at 80 in the most recent poll. I mean, you're doing very well, but also Trump
that's an exaggeration, though.
Well, but is it in his mind? I'm at 80. DeSantis is at 7.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Trump has been right about a whole lot of things. And here's a great example of this. Remember when he first became president and he accused Obama of, quote, tapping his wires or however he worded it? Trump's an old guy, so in his world, he was being wiretapped the same way they used to do it during the Hoover, when Hoover was the head of the FBI. That's not how it works now, but he was right in the sense of he was being surveilled. He was 100% right. He didn't use the right wordology, but everybody laughed at him. He's like, oh, this crazy old man, they don't even wiretap anymore. What a doofus. But he was right. He was being surveilled. And how many times has Trump actually been right, or at least 3/4 right in some ridiculous statement?
Or he's been close enough that you go, okay, that was the morsel of the idea, and let's go into it further. Whereas you think that your family member is just full of conspiracy theory?
Well, and the conspiracy theories are getting more and more right by the day. Look, here is what you should take from this. Do your own research. Do
multiple sources.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it is okay to read people, and I do this all the time. It is okay to read and watch people you absolutely loathe and do not agree with, because it at least gives you a foundation to challenge yourself to try to disprove whatever they're saying. And if you can't do it, then maybe there's some merit to what they're saying, and that's okay. But so many people I just get all my information from here. You should not just get all your information, even from us. We always say, what do we say, Casey? We've got two goals here: entertain and educate. And if we do them both well, you'll agree with us on most things. But get your information from other people.
I don't care what you say. I'm not watching The View.
Well, that's fine. Yes, very good.
No matter
that's
what
fine.
you do, unless you pay me to do it.
You should not have to subject yourself to torture in this country.
All right, before we get out of here, did you see the story about the woman who spiked her boyfriend's drink with roach spray?
Okay, so I don't care how mad you are at your significant other. Spiking the drink with roach spray is a step too far.
Yeah, you think? The man, he became extremely ill and couldn't speak without vomiting.
Yes, and I think that was probably her goal. Her goal might have been to kill him. I don't know. Because I would think, a reasonable person, Casey, would say, if I made you drink roach spray, would you die? There's probably a decent chance that could happen, right? I mean, it kills the roaches.
Sure.
It's designed to kill things.
Yeah.
One might come to a reasonable conclusion that if indeed I put this in your drink for human consumption, it could kill you.
She is being charged with poisoning, but the question is, what's the meanest thing that you've ever done to someone who has wronged you?
Boy, let's see here. Well,
get in the confessional. Let's hear it.
I'm actually trying to think about what is the actually meanest thing. Now, are we, if we're just talking, I do it all here, Casey. I have a platform to air my grievances, and I do them every single day. I don't need to do anything mean to people that have wronged me, because I have a legal, law-abiding outlet to torch and flamethrow people who deserve to be torched and flamethrowed on a flamethrowed frame. What is the
flame through?
Whatever it is.
Yeah, you've done that.
Yeah.
I've seen where some women have put a glitter bomb in their ex's car because,
A what?
A glitter bomb with sparkles, and, that glitter gets everywhere and it's very hard to get out. And then I've seen other women who will, if they're out and they meet somebody who maybe they're really not interested in, and that person asks for their phone number, they give them their ex's phone number. So all of a sudden, strange man is calling the ex asking for the lady. But here's what I always do. Spite is a great motivator for me.
Absolutely.
The best way to get back at someone is to live a good life.
Oh, yeah.
And
I like
be
that.
successful regardless of what they do or say to you.
I like that. That's a good way to go out. See, I knew you'd go out with something positive, and only you could take a story about a woman poisoning her boyfriend with roach spray and make it a positive
and
thing.
turn it happy. That's going to do it for us. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening today. We're going to catch you back here tomorrow. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel for Window Nation. Feeling the heat? High temps aren't the only thing getting you hot under the collar. Wait till you see your energy bills. The solution? I recommend my friends at Window Nation for new energy-efficient windows. Your home stays comfortable and cool, and you will save on those high energy bills. Not to mention the incredible savings Window Nation is offering right now.
Get 50% off any style window. Bows, bays, double hangs, sliders, 50% off. Plus, put zero down and make zero payments with 0% interest for 24 months. And this week only, receive an additional 10% off. So, maintain your chill, lower your bill, and fill your home with new Window Nation windows. Get 50% off all style windows and pay nothing for 2 years. 866-90-NATION. Call this week, get an additional 10% off. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Former pro football offensive tackle Mitch Schwartz knows for a guy, buying jewelry is a daunting task at most stores, but not if you go to Diamonds Direct.
It's very simple and very easy process for a guy to go in there and not be overwhelmed.
Mitch found Diamonds Direct and has been back many times buying jewelry for his wife, Brooke, and he's